Welcome to the Double D Podcast with your host, Double D. I am so excited to be here today. I am actually interviewing one of my mentors, Coach, Crew, SIFU, Joey De Los Reyes. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm excited to be on the podcast. It's going to be pretty exciting. I don't know what to expect, but I'm looking forward to it and see what happens today.
We are, just to let all of our listeners know, we are live actually right now. Well, this will be recorded, but we are live recording at Combat Arts Academy. For those of you who don't know Crew Joey, Joey is one of the owners of Combat Arts Academy, one of the premier MMA facilities within Canada, probably North America as well. They offer Muay Thai, JKD, Kali, boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, all under one roof, as well as strength and conditioning and nutrition, and I think the whole gambit.
Pretty much a lot of stuff too. We also offer like Savate, Bruce Lee's martial arts and concepts, Jeet Kune Do, law enforcement and self-defense training. So we're pretty privileged. We're really, really lucky that we're a community of martial artists who like to excel.
No, that's awesome. And, you know, what's going on? I mean, I know that there's so many exciting things happening. How's the year been? How's 2018 been?
2018 just flew right by. It's been very, very hectic. I'm responsible mainly for, like, as program director, overseeing all the programs here. Also, too, I take care of the Muay Thai athletes. So from my part with the Muay Thai team, I oversee their training, and that means, like, what are they working on, what matches are we going to take. I look at the resources that are available for them, athletic therapy, supplementation, etc. And this year, the Muay Thai team killed it. I'm very proud of the Muay Thai team. Not only like of the athletes themselves, but of the coaches who, a lot of them stepped up. Because, I have a busy workload. They stepped up. They went to competitions when I wasn't available. There were a lot of times I was sick or I had other issues I had to deal with. And they were really good at helping me out. So it was good to see the team really grow from the athletes to the instructors. We had a really good program this year. We came away with a lot of wins. We had Rich Pham, who fought in the China show, the East-West show. He came back with a victory right there. Vanessa, she won basically the Pan Ams. Rich and Brandon, they won the TBA champions. And those are like some of the highlights. But come on, like all our athletes really, really did well. We had guys, newcomers, who came back as national champions, provincial champions. So overall, I'm really happy with the Muay Thai team. And with the school overall, everyone was busy. For the boxing athletic team, the jiu-jitsu athletic team, they all came back with high accolades. I'm very, very proud of them. And we've also grown as a family. From a business aspect, Combat Arts is growing. You're going to be hearing about some exciting things in the next 3 to 5 years about Combat Arts, about how we're going to grow and stuff like that. But I've been spending a lot of time with our instructors and developing instructors to not necessarily, to replace me. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to happen, like, anytime soon. But, I hope not too, right? But you know what? Like, part of my legacy is to share our teaching methodology, share our values and everything. And I want those instructors to continue on teaching for Combat Arts, or if they leave, teaching those particular values. I think that's why we're really successful, is that as Combat Arts, we're not just teaching about fighting and everything. We're teaching about principles that are just kind of like, should be obvious for everyone on this planet. Just treat everyone with respect. We all want to get better. And I think that's why we're successful. We go beyond fighting. We want everyone to do well in other aspects of their life besides martial arts. So that's the key thing for me.
I mean, I think that's beautiful, and I think one of the beautiful things about the club and what I've seen, it's really interesting. A very high-level Indian Grandmaster of the martial arts visited the academy last week.
Yeah, I know, I missed him, damn it.
And it was amazing. And he checked it out, and he was just here 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And he looked around, he was really happy with the facility. And the first thing he says to me, he goes, Dave, he goes, there's a real family atmosphere here.
Yeah.
And I think, and I think that's what's really cool is, So in the MMA world, or in the Muay Thai combat sport world, mm-hmm. you have a few types of gyms, right?
Right.
So you have the fighter type gym where it's all fighters, mm-hmm. and there's almost in certain gyms there's almost an arrogance. I'm a fighter, and a new person would not even feel comfortable.
Right.
With the energy in the room.
Sure.
Then you have the kind of for lack of a better word, the McDojos.
Right.
That are kind of like just into kind of family fitness,
uh-huh.
Like cardio boxing, cardio boxing.
Right.
But I think Combat Arts is probably one of the one of the only schools that I've seen that has both. It has the fighter culture, but with the family atmosphere.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like that's what I'm really proud of. And you know, Combat Arts started off like 18 years ago, and most people know the whole story of it. We started off actually in a parking lot in the shade of an 18-wheeler. And
Really?
I remember, oh yeah, that's how we started off. Like I left the martial arts club, and X amount of members followed me, and that wasn't my intention. Basically, I did want to open up my own club, but I didn't think it would happen that soon. So I had about 40 students that followed me, and like, where am I going to train them? So I trained them in a parking lot, in the back of a strip mall in a parking lot. And I remember it was really hot, and we were in the shade of an 18-wheeler trailer, and we would put our water bottles underneath the trailer to keep it cool.
Green beer.
That's how hot it was. Oh man, there's a sign on the door.
Oh, there is. Joe, the origins of combat art are amazing. Like we're talking about, you started, in a parking lot, in the shade of an 18-wheeler.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now it's interesting. So I want to talk about the origins of, and this is part of why I really want to interview you, because not many people know about your personal life, your family, like the challenges, the struggles you went through, and I'd love to hear kind of, what drove you into the martial arts, why and how, and then would love to hear, like, for the benefit of our listeners who may be going through a tough time. So
yeah, sure. So like, so my mom came here, from the Philippines, and we grew up in a predominantly all-white area, and she thought it was my best interest to study martial arts. So I picked up martial arts through some family members. I learned Kali, stick fighting, and it wasn't as sophisticated as it is now. There's a couple strikes and everything, and I learned boxing, and you had to learn how to defend yourself. She felt that was the case, and we didn't speak Tagalog at all. We didn't speak our Filipino language at all at the house. She wanted to make sure I grew up with an accent. I guess for her, growing up here in Canada, she felt there was some degree of prejudice. Now, growing up myself, I didn't really see it that much. I had mainly white friends, but I was lucky I had black friends, Chinese friends, Filipino friends, of course. So my life was a buffet at the beginning. But we did practice martial arts, and it was kind of cool that a lot of my friends practiced martial arts too. So that was pretty neat. My martial arts history is quite extensive. I pretty much dabbled in every martial art, pretty much whatever the flavor of the month was. And then I went to university. I'm going to fast forward to university, and I got accepted into aerospace engineering. So I got accepted into aerospace engineering.
Hang on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. So
yeah.
I don't know this. Are you serious? You got accepted into
Yeah,
aerospace?
so actually I was in high school. I was a J Turner. I was part of their aviation program. I got accepted to be a pilot, and I wanted to be a fighter pilot.
So did I.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Wow.
I grew up in a Top Gun era.
Yeah, same here.
I wanted to be like Top Gun and stuff like that. So
that's crazy.
Showing my age here. So I wanted to be a fighter pilot, and I had an accident in track and field. I had an accident during track and field. I used to run track and field in high school. I used to do the 100s. And I remember one time my coach asked me to run the 200s. And this goes to show you your mind setting. And I'm like, oh my God, 100. And now I got to do 200s? That's double the distance. Can I actually do that? And no one talked about mental training back then. You just did it. And I was saying to myself, I would do anything to get out of that race. Anything. I don't want to run the 200s at all. And you got to watch what you wish for. So two of my friends were fighting over a binder, and one of them let go, and the binder flew into my eye and gave me a 2mm cut in my cornea.
Wow.
Back then, there wasn't really eye surgery, stuff like that, laser and everything. In my later years, you had laser surgery. It was still experimental. People heard horror stories. You weren't really sure if it worked, yes or no.
Correct,
so I never got my eyesight corrected ever. Something I'm looking to right now. So me being a pilot kind of went down the drain, especially a fighter pilot. So I was good at math and science, so I applied. I went to Ryerson for aerospace engineering.
Wow.
And
you know that's the toughest.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It's the toughest engineering program. Wow.
It actually taught me a lot now in hindsight, because math and science came very easy to me, and math and science came so easy to me. I developed bad studying habits so much, and that's why I think I'm so hard on my students and my athletes and people around me to develop good habits, because you may be natural at something. I was good at math and science, so easy. It just came to me like that. And unfortunately, I had bad studying habits. And then when I went to university, I got destroyed. Being a natural meant nothing. I didn't know how to study. and you're not gonna get any help at university. And I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't know that was available for me. Being a kid that grew up, that was taught to defend yourself and be on your own all the time, you never asked for help ever. And that kind of transitioned to university. So it's no fault by my own. You just didn't know how to ask for help. So, I'm in university and everything. I had some bad studying habits. I was a natural at it, which didn't really help me at all. And then, I was still studying martial arts in Toronto, which was exciting. Like, Toronto was and is to this day, I think, a mecca of martial arts. If you're studying in martial arts in Toronto, hey man, you're so lucky / spoiled, because there's so many great martial arts instructors in the GTA, specifically in the Toronto City area. And I remember I was like, man, this is great. I'm studying all these martial arts. And then I remember one day.
Which arts did you study?
I studied Kali, JKD. I studied some kickboxing and everything.
So this was all a different kind of school?
Yeah. It wasn't like at this other school. So what happened is that I remember walking into class one day, and I couldn't understand the instructor. The instructor had a really thick accent that I just couldn't get around. I sucked at the subject. I looked down at my bag, and I had a pair of sticks and boxing gloves. You could see clearly through my bag. And I said, that's it for me. I like martial arts. I like the physicality of martial arts. I like the science behind it. I'm just gonna take some time off and study the martial arts and teach some people and share my experiences. And I walked out in the middle of the class. And maybe a good thing or a bad thing, sometimes I regret it, and sometimes I like the fact that I walked out of that class, right? So I left.
So you're sitting in class, and you're kind of struggling with what the teacher's saying. You're sitting there, you look down, see your passion, basically.
Yeah.
Right? See kind of like, this excites me.
Mm-hmm.
And you walked out of class.
Yeah,
aerospace engineering program.
Yeah, that's it for me, man. I had enough. I just recognized that this is something that I just like a lot. I love a lot as martial arts.
No, but didn't you have any hesitation or any fear, like, what am I going to do now, or
I'm sure there was.
Like,
I don't really recall. Like, I remember like back then, I was a bad kid. You're in martial arts and you're in an area where you had to learn how to defend yourself. It's not like a gang related area, but that's just where you find yourself in this particular situation. So I got kicked out of my house when I was really young. Not the really best son and everything. I got kicked out of my house when I was really young. So I lived on my own when I was really young age. So you learn quickly how to stand on your 2 feet. So yes, there's that element of fear, but I had some experience too in how to stand on my own 2 feet. So I quit engineering. Decided to
What did your mom think?
Oh, my mom she already thought my mom thought I was an assassin. My mom thought she goes, you're into this martial arts stuff and everything. She goes, oh my god, you have a brain, but you want to you have throwing stars on your walls and nunchucks on your walls. She thought I was some kind of assassin, right? Obviously, she was disappointed in the fact that she had come from a different country, given her child a better opportunity, and now he wants to go build muscles, get big muscles, and punch people in the face. So obviously, she was very, very disappointed. Now she's like, holy crow!
Wow.
She sees the effect it had on people's lives. She I remember a couple years ago, my sister Crystal, she was talking to my mom. She goes, do you know what your son does for a living? And my mom thinks I'm probably still an assassin, and whatever she thinks, right? So my mom goes, no, I have no idea. So my sister goes, you should really check out what your son does. So it's 5 years ago, my sister brought my mom to the academy, and my mom was like, holy crow, this is all yours? Well, the building's not mine, but the environment and the culture I have is basically mine, we'll say. And she was really impressed. And she was really impressed that I actually affected a lot of people.
That's really
so I think now she's much happier now that many years later, many years later, of course, right? Like any family too, you have issues and everything. You agree to disagree sometimes. I'm the black sheep of the family. I'm proud of that fact. I'm not the typical Filipino family. I'm not a doctor or a lawyer or whatever and everything, actor. Yeah. But
that's the immigrant experience.
Yeah. And I understand that, and I understand my mom had worked really, really hard. Being a single parent is really tough. I think whatever, you're 2 parents or a single parent, it's tough. It was tough back then. It's probably tough now too, right? After I quit university, I went on this huge martial arts journey. I checked out all these different schools, and I fell into JKD. I fell into a school that was teaching Jeet Kune Do, Muay Thai, Savate, boxing, I was like, oh man, this is the stuff I want to learn. Because like, when I grew up in the martial arts world, right, and back in my era, it was always what was a trend. So for me, I learned Kali and I learned boxing. And I liked it because of the physicality of it. All right, there was no gi, there was like no tradition. And I understand that and I respect it, don't get me wrong, right? And this is what I started with, right? Circumstances. And then circumstances changed where my mom tried to sign me up for Taekwondo. And I did Taekwondo, I went pretty high in it, but I was pretty savvy to the fact that they guaranteed my black belt in 3 years. And it said that on my contract. And I don't know why, but that just didn't make sense to me. And I was like, you know what, it just doesn't resonate well with me that they would guarantee this black belt in 3 years. And I would look to the left and look to the right, and some guys were awesome, they were ninjas, and I go, hey, that guy should get his black belt then in 1 year. And then some guys, I think, you know, to be totally honest, they sucked. And I go, this guy should not get his black belt in 3 years. So there didn't seem to be any rhyme or rhythm.
So basically the entitlement factor.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like that some people, that no matter who you are,
right,
you'll get a black belt in 3 years.
Right. And then, you know, so then I quit that. I had a high ranking in it. And then, you know, I was like, I think I got like my blue or something like that. And I was like, you know what, it's not for me and everything. And then there was a karate school that was close by. And all my friends were doing karate. And I go, I'll go check it out. And they had boxing. They're advertising boxing on the window. And I go, okay, they're offering boxing, so they must know what they're doing. So I'm going to go there and join up. So I joined up and everything. And again, you know what? I just couldn't get into the katas. And, you know, I've been reading about Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee was, like, parading my thoughts about, like, you know, you got to, like, test yourself. You got to get into the water, all this kind of stuff. How do you know if this stuff can be applied if you don't actually spar, all this kind of stuff. So this is, like, in the back of my head. I also forget I was doing wrestling in high school. I did wrestling in high school too, right? So I had an essence of like what combat was like. You know, so I was like, oh, this doesn't seem right to me. It was just a feeling. Like no one was mentoring me. It just doesn't seem to be right. And I was reading things, whether Bruce Lee was right or wrong. It just kind of made sense at the moment for me. So after doing a couple of katas, I went to the sensei and I go, you know, I would like to try. You know, I see you offer boxing classes. I would like to try a boxing class. And he told me, you cannot do boxing here until you get your black belt.
Really? Wow.
So to me, it was like a system, you know, a money-making system or whatever.
Yeah.
I had to go through these particular rankings.
Dangle the carrot.
And then one day when I get my coveted black belt, I could be a boxing.
Right. Yeah.
And then, you know what, like in our era too, ninjas came out, the, you know, magazine.
Shoko
Yeah, ninjas came out. That was really cool.
Wow.
So, you know, we're in our garage throwing stars at each other, which probably wasn't healthy. And then, you know, and JKD was beginning to get some momentum. We saw it a lot in the martial arts magazines. And it made you question what you were doing. Kali was coming out. Guru Dan and Santo was beginning to be more prevalent in the magazines. And, like, you know, there's these really cool sticks. I remember I ordered, like, when I had my first sticks, they was really cool. I go, oh, man, I want to, like try practice Kali. And so I was like, where can I learn this stuff, Kali and JKD? So there was a school that opened up. And they offered all these arts. They offered Muay Thai, boxing, Jeet Kune Do, all this pretty cool stuff. So I joined up. I was actually one of the first members I joined up.
Wow.
And I paid for my friend, this guy named Calvin, to join up with me.
Yeah, Calvin.
Yeah, Calvin Miller. I paid for his first month because I was so scared to go by myself.
Yeah.
I wanted to practice it. So I was there for quite a while. And it was a good introduction to all these arts. It was MAFA, actually. It was called the Martial Arts Fitness Academy back then. Now it's called the Martial Arts Fighting Academy now. And great academy.
It was in Golds, right?
It wasn't in Golds. Actually, it was at the Dunwin Center. It was actually moved to different locations, but the last known location during my era was at the Dunwin Center.
Oh, Dunwin.
All right?
Yeah, okay.
And great facility, ahead of its time. You know, introduced a lot of different martial arts out there, and I took all of it. I did Muay Thai, I did boxing, I did JKD. Professor Salim Asli came there. He taught Savate. Wow. My SIFU, Larry Hartzell, who had trained under Bruce Lee, not an instructor under Bruce Lee. He didn't get all his certificates from Bruce Lee, but he was one of the main guys under Bruce Lee. He came there and did seminars. And I was lucky enough that MAFA was there to introduce me to those particular martial arts. And then I plateaued. I kind of realized that, you know, they had boxing there, they had kickboxing there, and I would spar with them, and I sucked. And also, too, I was working the door. I was a doorman. I think all martial artists work as a doorman sooner or later. and I had some good fights and some bad fights. You know, I got sucker punched and I made some good takedowns, but you know, give and take, right? And I would go to these other clubs, like a boxing club or a kickboxing club, and I get beat up. And I was studying Jeet Kune Do. What's going on here? It's the cat's meow. It's the best martial art out there. It's the best concepts. And I realized...
So you would go to like a boxing club.
Yeah.
Or like another club.
A kickboxing club. And just see what they had to offer.
Just to spar and
yeah, just spar and everything, right? And I realized like I was studying Jeet Kune Do wrong. I was studying Jeet Kune Do. What a lot of clubs do is the eclectic method or the buffet method. They would study a martial art and take a little bit here, do another martial art, study a little bit, and take it from there. Like, let's do some taekwondo, take some kicks. Let's do some boxing, take their hands. Let's do some wrestling and take their wrestling techniques. But they didn't really live that martial art. They didn't understand the techniques and tactics. It was like they knew a lot of stuff, but shallow, not deep, invested studying of that particular martial art. When and how to use particular techniques and tactics. How do you flow from one particular range to another? It was too stilted. It was unrhythmic. Kick, stop, maybe boxing, stop, wrestling, stop. It didn't flow seamlessly to what we have nowadays, MMA.
But isn't, I mean, I remember Bruce Lee in the Tao Jeet Kune Do. I think it's in that book, or it could be one of his other books he's written. He wrote, actually very interestingly, he said, a person who trains just in boxing or even in wrestling for 1 year could take any kind of traditional martial artist of like 5 years, a black belt, in a fight. Yeah, like, I mean, he believed that so much that, you know.
I think like for the most part that's true, but I could tell you some karate guys who are badasses and some taekwondo guys who are like ninjas, man. And like I truly believe in one of his phrases too. Like I don't know if he said it, but I think he did. It's the man that makes the martial art, not the martial art that makes the man.
Beautiful.
And I really think that's the case. Like of course there are some martial arts, and we'll talk about it later on, that lend themselves better, I think, in my personal experience, to sports and self-defense, their training methodology, etc. But it really does come down to, I think, to really the individual. And then like I caught on to the fact that I wasn't really that good. I knew a lot of cool stuff, but I can't apply it. I can't.
Was that hard on the ego?
Oh yeah, it was tough.
Was that
like
hard?
I had quit school. I decided to be like David Carradine, this kung fu master, this monk. And I'm like, dude, you suck. And so I stopped. I stopped training at the school. And I went to a boxing school. I went to a kickboxing school. And I got my ass kicked. And I was one of the first guys to dabble into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I took it upon myself to like bring Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu back to the school, to Mafa, you know, and bring it in there, incorporate it. And I like, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because I had already been studying grappling under SIFU Larry Hartzell. But, you know, I love SIFU Larry Hartzell. He's my JKD instructor. But in all honesty, for me, I didn't feel that the positioning was there. I thought the locks were there. The locks and submissions were amazing. But I had a hard time holding down people.
Well, this is what they say, right, about Bruce Lee. Is just before he died, he started to get into the grappling.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's always, you know, for martial artists, it's always that fantasy question. What if Bruce survived and actually brought in, or you know that aspect.
Yeah.
So I think a part of it is maybe it's not it was just timing.
Yeah, it's just timing. You know what I mean? For sure.
You know, from that angle.
I totally agree with you, and I love grappling because, like, again, going back, I was working security, I was doing bodyguarding, I was heavily into the security industry. I did pretty much everything in the security industry except for electronic surveillance. I had done the door, I've done private investigation, loss prevention, bodyguarding, or executive protection. I'd done the whole gambit. And grappling was the one thing I was missing that evened the odds for me. So definitely.
Where did you find a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu teacher at that time?
You know, it's a funny story actually. Like, there's this guy. I was studying like JKD, and there's this guy named Scott Schilling.
Okay.
And he was studying ninjutsu, and he was like, "Have you heard of this thing called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?" And I go, "Yeah." So he showed me a couple stuff, and I go, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And I remember we watched it on the UFC. My buddy and I, we watched the UFC the first time. We're like, this thing's fixed. Yeah. This is so fixed. Until Gerard Gardreau, the Dutch Savate Muay Thai kickboxing guy, you know, the plethora of all these kickboxing arts, he kicked the tooth out of that sumo guy. Yeah. And you see the tooth fly in the air. And I'm like, what the hell? This is not fixed. This is like real legit stuff. And I go, dude, I got to get my hands on this thing called Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And so, Scott Schilling, he shares some jiu-jitsu stuff. I go, that's pretty cool. So I dabble with that a bit. And then this guy, he's a member here, Sandy Bravo.
Yeah. Sandy.
He's a member here and everything. We always joke around. He teaches his Bravo boxing here. He was doing jiu-jitsu, and I go, listen, I'm going to teach you some knife fighting. You teach me some grappling. And he taught me some grappling.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
And it was rudimentary stuff.
Yeah.
But, the beauty of jiu-jitsu back then, and compared to, I feel, jiu-jitsu nowadays, it worked. And nobody was doing it. And you took the mount on somebody, and people were dead. You took crossbody on somebody back then, they had no idea what the hell they were doing. So the rudimentary basic stuff that we take for granted nowadays, like they kicked ass a long time ago, and there's still, obviously, of course, the basics are relevant today, So, and then I wanted to, I know for my testing under Larry Hartzell for my testing, I had to do X amount of MMA rounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he was like hardcore. You had to fight for your ranking. And everyone back then was doing what? Stand-up martial arts. Boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai. That was the trend. Everyone had good stand-up. I like hitting people, but I don't like getting hit. So I was like, man, how can I even the odds? So I'm going to study grappling. Because one thing that Larry Hartzell had spoken to me about, which obviously comes from, Bruce Lee, is that you don't grapple with a grappler, you don't strike with a striker, you use the antithesis against them, right?
And it still holds today.
Still holds water today, right?
Still holds water today.
So I seeked out Claude Patrick. So Claude Patrick, who fought in the UFC and everything. Yes. Claude Patrick used to be one of my students, and he used to teach him JKD and everything and striking. And he's like, I don't know about this JKD stuff. He can't apply it. I couldn't really apply it either. So he wanted to go study this thing called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I said, no problem, cool. Hopefully we'll meet up again. You can share with me. I brought him back to Mafa to start teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes.
Wow.
So that was how I started introducing grappling in my part of my community, right? How to better my community, right?
You're a pioneer.
Yeah. Like you want to call it that, yeah. But I don't really think about that myself that way.
Yeah.
For me, the one thing I like about what my position in life is connecting people. I want to connect people, right? Make our community better, make our people better, right? So, I can take credit for it, but I don't really care. It's just maybe me connecting people, we're all getting better, right? So, under Claude Patrick, I got my blue belt.
Oh, wow.
And I went to an in-house Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament, and I remember it was outdoors, and I was out there at a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament.
Did they even have mats?
They had mats outside. It was boiling hot.
Wow.
It was black and blue mats outside in the heat in the summertime, and I remember sitting there by myself. I was a Jeet Kune Do guy. Everyone knew I was a Jeet Kune Do guy. And I could hear everybody whispering behind my back. They go, oh, that's a JKD guy. That's a Jeet Kune Do guy. We are going to show him what pure jiu-jitsu is. We're going to beat him up. So I went into
So you heard this?
Oh, I could hear it. I could hear them snickering and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, man.
And you were
by myself. I was with my buddy Wesley. You remember Wesley?
Yeah.
I was with Wesley.
Oh, yeah.
Wesley and I were doing private lessons with Claude. I was training three times a week and everything. And so I get out there. And I'm like, man, I'm going to get killed. I'm by myself. It's me and Wesley, and I don't know any of these other schools.
So he was your corner, basically. Wesley.
Yeah. No, Claude was there, but Claude was a social bunny talking to everyone. So I was bidding with myself. That was Claude back then, right?
Sure.
And I was like, man, I'm by myself. So I won 3 to 4 of my matches, and I got my blue belt.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was cool to...
How was that experience?
It was scary. It was scary because the first guy I went against was a judo guy. They put me against a judo guy, a blue belt in judo, and I stalled, and it went to overtime twice, and I took him down with a wrestling takedown. I went back to my wrestling, I took him down. I scored points on that. So,
wrestling is so underrated.
It's so underrated.
Unbelievable.
I wish I stayed in it. Yeah. It's so hard on the body, too, right? It's definitely and
it's not fun. You know what it is? I mean, I wrestled also in high school as well. And we had it for 1 year, and then that was it. The coaches left. And it's not. They're ready to get rid of wrestling in the Olympics.
Yeah,
barely survived.
If you look at the history of Olympics, my understanding of the Olympics, and I could be wrong here. It's just my readings and stuff like that. Is that the Olympics was the opportunity for soldiers to practice their combative skills during peace times. To keep them sharp.
Sharp.
The javelin, archery, chariot, running. The they had the hammer, the shot put, pancration, wrestling, all of that kind of stuff, right? So it's sad to see that we have ribbon twirling, and no offense if you guys are doing ribbon twirling, good for you, but it's offense that they have ribbon twirling there in the Olympics, right? You know. But yeah, so I brought in grappling. I learned a lot. It was really scary for me, and to me, grappling is an equalizer. But however, me working security in the door and working all this stuff, I am glad for my extensive martial arts training, where it was basically, I like Bertrand Richardson. Bertrand Richardson's expression, he's a Jeet Kune Do expert.
Yeah, he's a coach of that UFC fighter, the Crippler.
Yeah. My God, my memory. Oh my gosh. But anyway, the ability to fight in all ranges, kicking, punching, clinching, grappling, with or without weapons, against one or many opponents. And that's one thing I try to strive for on my technical and tactical aspect of martial arts.
I want to get back to your story, but I think one of the questions that a lot of my listeners are probably having, and a lot of people have, and you've already heard this probably a million times, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you had the passion, you had the time, you had the drive to search out all these schools, try these different martial arts out. But for someone who's looking to, try martial art, right?
Excuse me.
The number one question, and I think I know the answer, but I want you
to for our listeners,
it is what's the best martial art, right? What's the best martial art,
right?
And why?
So first of all, it's like, why are you doing martial arts? So it comes down to that. So like, what would be the person's reason for doing martial arts? So like, give me an example. Why would someone want to do martial arts?
Self-defense.
Okay, so like, if you're looking at self-defense, and I have my own thoughts about self-defense here, to me, again, I don't think one particular martial art has a monopoly on self-defense training. And, this is my personal experience from studying different martial arts, and I'm lucky in my particular school. I have a lot of gifted martial artists that come through my school, martial arts instructors, right? And so I see, like, again, I like Bertrand Richardson's model, is that you need to answer these questions of how do you handle yourself in these particular ranges. The striking range, the clinch range, the grappling range, again, against one or many opponents, and with or without weapons. So, you know what? To a degree, you need to like investigate a mixed martial arts or Jeet Kune Do concepts mindset, where you study a particular martial art for a period of time, like boxing for a year or 2 years, and you spar it, you train it athletically, and once you feel like you've done enough to get the basics down, and that's arguable what that is, you move on to another martial art. Maybe move on to wrestling, and then you move on to a weapons art and stuff like that.
So let me make the question a little bit challenging.
Okay.
So let's say someone says, Coach, I totally hear you. I'll do boxing for a year, this and that, but realistically, I don't have time. I have a family. I have this. I have so many other things to do. I have a business. I need you to laser down. Okay, let me ask you this. Let's say from the experience you have now, with everything, you had to pick one. What would it be?
I don't know what it would be. I tell you what I'd spend on. I know it sucks. I know it sucks for our listeners and everything. I would spend a lot of time on probably the missing element when it comes to self-defense is your mindset.
Interesting.
Because like at the end of the day, again, probably not going to satisfy my listeners and everything, is that I think it's the man that makes the martial arts and not vice versa. I think like there are a lot of martial arts that lend itself better to sport and self-defense versus other martial arts. There are two things that I would like to discuss is like, number one, whatever martial art you're studying, you have to train it athletically. Like, I'm a big proponent of doing self-defense seminars and self-defense workshops and everything. But in those workshops, to me, the main lesson is to introduce the person to the survival mindset, the winning mindset. And I'll talk about that in a few seconds. But you're lying to people if you're doing an hour workshop or a 2-hour workshop, and hopefully this person will be able to do it against someone who is full-fledged and committed to attacking you. And, from Matt Thornton, this guy from Straight Blast Gyms, I remember he said this one phrase, and I'm going to butcher it too, but he said that if you can't jab someone in the face, how are you going to eye jab somebody? If you can't land, if you can't land an inside kick on somebody, how are you going to kick them in the groin? If you can't stop it, if you can't escape the mount position or escape a position in jiu-jitsu without having to resort to eye raking or biting or whatever, hitting them in the groin, how are you going to escape? And don't get me wrong, I think those foul techniques are obviously very useful, but if you don't train athletically, of course within your so-called physical limitations, your age, all of that kind of stuff, your commitment and time, you're going to have a hard time pulling off any technique against someone that's resisting you.
So it's interesting. When you say train athletically, you're talking spar. You're basing it on fight.
I am. And that could mean anything to anybody. That could mean a 7-year-old person is just putting on gloves and getting used to punching someone in the face and taking a few shots here and there. Or maybe that's not good for them. They're out on the mat doing jiu-jitsu, which I think is a great training vehicle for someone who doesn't want to get hit and still learning how to control somebody. Do you want 10-year-old kids getting their sparring with strikes? You can teach them jiu-jitsu or wrestling and just hold down somebody until a teacher comes. But if you don't learn how to implement your art in an athletic way, good luck defending yourself. And again, I'm a big proponent of self-defense workshops and everything and stuff like that. But I think they should be spending more time on the fighting mindset or survival mindset. And we'll talk about that in a few seconds, right? But if you don't train athletically, any martial art, you could be doing Muay Thai, which is a devastating martial art. But if you're just kicking the bag and shadow boxing and hitting pads and grunting and making noises, if you don't test yourself by sparring, it doesn't have to be with a K1 champion, doesn't have to be sparring every day. But if you don't go in there and do some kind of light sparring, work your timing, distance, accuracy, how do you deal with the physiological effects that happens to your body during combat? The adrenaline dump, having to take a piss, dry mouth, tunnel vision, auditory exclusion. If you don't know how to experience that, you're going to be shocked when you get into a real fight. All your katas, all your hitting the bag, all your shadow boxing will not prepare you to the full extent I feel in sparring. And again, I'm not advocating going in there and getting your bell ringed every day. There are safe ways of sparring if you have a good coach that can guide you to that. And then the second side of the coin is the fighting mindset. You have fighting mindset, survival mindset, winning mindset, doesn't matter. The mindset to win, to survive. And you know what? That's a very delicate subject for a lot of people. It really is. And a lot of people are not comfortable talking about that.
You know what it is, Coach? It's really interesting what you're talking about. Because we're all from the same era, especially you and I. You sound like Cobra Kai.
I know. I know. It sounds bad, eh? Strike first, strike hard, no mercy.
You sound. I mean, when we were growing up, Karate Kid was the whole thing, right?
Dude, that was my hero. No, I'm joking, but I get the idea. Yeah.
But you're being very real. You're being very real, which is what I want our listeners to understand. Because you're talking the reality.
Yeah, like it's my reality, my perception maybe, and also it's my experience working security and everything. And again, I'm really lucky. I've been running the school for 18 years, and prior to that, I was at other martial arts schools, and we had a lot of people come through our schools who are champions. They're bodyguards, they're bounty hunters, they're in the law enforcement industry, and by talking to them, it comes down to these two things is what I find. Athletic training, the way you train is the way you fight, and that mindset. And that mindset, there's so many different facets to that though. Because I can give you a gun. I can give you a knife. If you're really like Joe, I don't have time to train. I don't have time to train. I need to defend myself. Yeah, here's a gun. Here's a knife. But if you don't have that mindset to use it, good luck. Good luck. And that mindset encompasses a lot of things, which I'll talk about in a few seconds, right? For example, I train a lot of people, a lot of females for women's self-defense course. They still have trepidation and using their techniques, right? But if I say to this lady, I go, listen, after I finish attacking you, I'm going to go after your daughter. They may not value their own life, but if you're going to go after their children, fight is on. So what is your value system? What do you live for? What is your value system? That's really, really important, right? If you don't know what that is, you're not going to fight for anything. You're not.
So what you're saying is really interesting. What you're saying is, and I think we've talked about this before as well, is people in general, I know you're focusing on the women's self-defense, but people in general also, they will let themselves get beat, but a loved one or
yeah, for sure. They'll defend them to the end.
Very
we're lucky we see that. Like we see, like even though we see a lot of crap on Facebook, we do see some people where they step in to interject to save animals and people in distress, and that's great. And that's what martial arts is all about. You know, I would never advocate if my student does not feel comfortable stepping into an altercation. I would expect my student to at least call the police and be a great witness. You know, but like, what are your value systems? What are your religious beliefs? Are you gonna go against God and hurt someone? How do you feel about that? What is your concept of the law? How far are you gonna push the law? You know, and I know it's a very sensitive subject. I'm not a lawyer, by the way, guys, but that's something that you need to decide before you ever try to use martial arts for self-defense or take a self-defense workshop. What is the law? What is the law? Are you gonna break the law? How far are you gonna push it?
So let me hold on there. This is interesting. What is the law actually? So you brought up a very interesting point.
You know, Devin likes a touchy subject, man, because like there's so many aspects of the law. Like, what is?
I mean, I know you're not a lawyer, but maybe a general kind of 50,000 foot level. Because the reason why I'm asking is, which is one of the reasons I want to have the interview today as well. We're seeing a lot of violence right now.
Yeah.
And now there's a media aspect to it, but bottom line is we're seeing a lot of it just within the Peel region. So we're talking about Mississauga, Brampton, Toronto, like in the GTA.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your feeling on that in terms of you know, you brought up a good point. When do you get involved, and what is the law? Like what does that mean?
Oh my gosh! So I'm not a lawyer. I don't really know the Criminal Code Act and everything.
In general,
I think like number one, like for sure, you do have a right to defend yourself, but you have to be able to show you can escape. Can you escape safely? Can you walk away from the situation? Can you leave the situation? And that's why I talk about, you know, what I was alluding to is visualization. What are you willing to do? So for example, like if you get into, I don't know, some guy cuts you off on the road and you guys give each other the finger, and all of a sudden you pull into a parking lot and he follows you. Do you get out of your car? No. You drive away. If you get out of your car and you go towards him, good luck trying to claim self-defense. Good luck. All right? Get in your car and drive away. Show that you tried to leave the scene. You tried to escape. Maybe there may be another situation where you're on a date and you're basically like, okay, that's enough. I'm trying to leave now. And you try to leave and this person stops you now from leaving. And now you can feel because of this person's...
And this happens.
Your perception of the situation. 6 foot, 200 pound person. He turns up the volume on the radio. He says you're not leaving. Your perception is that your life is in danger. Physically you get harmed. You should be able to defend yourself. But I think you have to be able to show that, number one, could you not escape safely before you start laying hands on another person? And then excessive use of force. You're only allowed to use enough force to basically stop the threat. Again, to get escape, to get away from the situation. Can you escape safely is the most paramount thing here.
So again, you know, and just to have that disclaimer, this is not any kind of legal advice or anything like that. We're not lawyers, but we're just kind of talking...
Yeah, in general sense and everything, right?
Of the concept.
Right.
What you're saying is basically is self-defense is a situation where you had to use enough force to escape the situation.
Right. To stop the situation, to stop this person from attacking you. So for example, this was like, you know, I try to leave. I go, hey buddy, you're the tough guy for tonight. I'm leaving. You try to leave and he steps in front of you. As much as possible, you're trying to get around this person, he grabs you. He grabs you and maybe you throw him to the ground. You throw him to the ground and he gets stunned and you can leave. You decide to step over his body and walk away. Perfect. But if you sit there and start stomping on the guy's head, that's excessive use of force. You know what I mean? And then we could talk about things like now, like if a person introduces a weapon into the situation. You know, are you allowed to use deadly force in that situation? You know, and again, you have to check with the laws, but I would suggest yes. You know what I mean? You're allowed to use as equal force to stop the threat. But again, guys, I am not a lawyer, so please go check that out on your own.
But it's interesting because I know police officers and all that, and you've trained, I know law enforcement. They actually say the same thing. They actually prefer, they'll say walk away.
Yeah.
Actually, that's what they say. They say if you have to defend yourself and like how you said, leave.
Right.
Otherwise, they'd prefer even you not to just...
Right. And then part of like, you know, we're going full circle here. Part of the self-defense workshops and everything, which I hope is what is being taught in self-defense workshops, is that mindset, that fighting mindset, awareness, being aware of your surroundings. That's what you should be getting from self-defense training. Also, to a degree, the mindset of your attacker. What is the mindset of your attacker? So, for example, like, you have to understand if someone steps up to you and they want to engage you in physical combat, they want to hurt you. Does anybody pick a fight with you to lose?
Yeah, interesting.
They don't.
Yeah, they feel they can dominate.
They can dominate you.
That's right.
So if anybody steps up to me and they want to pick a fight with me, you have to think in your head, they don't know I'm Joey, the owner of Combatives Training Academy.
They wouldn't know that.
And that I have low body fat percentage and maybe some days I'm jacked, yada, yada, yada. They don't know that. And that's where the ego of the martial artist gets in there. This person picked a fight with me, an altercation with me, because they believe they could actually beat me. Now, why can they beat you? Why, Devinder? Why do you think they could actually beat you?
They may feel that their physicality, their skills can outdo you.
Right. So they're bigger than me.
Yeah.
I'm 5'4", 150 to 155 pounds. They're bigger than me. Right? They've been watching the UFC, Fight Channel, whatever. They've been going to a gym, learning a couple like Taibo exercises, yada, yada, yada. So they think they have martial arts prowess to defeat me. Why else? Why else would someone pick a fight with you with the mindset they know they could win?
It's an interesting question. I mean, it could just be maybe they're with a group of people.
Right. Multiple attackers now.
It's kind of like they have to show bravado. They got to show that.
Or I know my boys have my back.
Yeah.
I could pound you, and I know my guy's going to jump in. What other reasons why? They have a weapon on them. I know if the situation gets out of control, I can reach for my weapon. They're EDP, they're emotionally disturbed people. They're under the influence of alcohol and drugs, which will affect the techniques and tactics that you will have to use against them. You may actually have to put a choke on them, because no matter how many times you try a pain compliance technique, whatever, they're immune to it. So, like, people, like, this is part of, like, self-defense training. The physical stuff is kind of cool and pretty neat, you know? But what is the mindset of your attacker? If your attacker steps up to you, I'm not thinking in my head, do you know who I am? I'm Joey, the Combat Arts owner. I'm a martial artist, and I've been studying martial arts for so long. No. Warning bells are going off my head that this person thinks he could take me on. This person believes, honestly, they have the skill set, the physicality, they're armed, they have friends, they're on the right mental aspect, yada, 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 they could take me. I have two choices. What are my choices?
One is to basically run.
Leave. Get out of there. You know what I mean? Like, leave. Get out of there. Because it can be a situation where he has a weapon on him. It can be a situation where it's multiple attackers. And despite the fact that you may be a world-renowned, highly accredited martial artist, come on. It's hard to dodge bullets. Knives, you know what I mean? When they enter your body, it's like a NutriBullet. They're like cutting up everything inside your body. You know, pros and cons of various martial arts, jiu-jitsu, maybe in boxing versus multiple attackers. It's tough. It's tough fighting multiple attackers. It really is. So, like, yeah, whatever. You may have like 10 black belts. Good luck fighting 10 guys. It's going to be a tough fight for you. So, you know what? Swallow your pride, so to speak. Run away.
Have you had a situation or situations where you've had to do that? Where you've had to swallow your pride, or where you were in an altercation where you had to make a choice?
Yeah, I definitely for sure work security at what do you call it? I'm gonna butcher it. Sorry, a Bhangra party.
Yeah.
So I worked security at one of those parties.
For all the Indian folks listening, he just said he did security at the Bhangra parties.
Yeah. Sorry.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, right? And I was having a good time. I was a young guy having a good time and everything. And my boss at the time said, "Hey, by the way, they're gonna finish up early tonight. You're gonna get paid in cash. You get to go home early." I'm like, "Oh, this is awesome, man. The music's good. People are dancing. Everyone's having a good time. I'm gonna get paid out. I'm gonna go home early." So what happens? Young gentleman tries to sneak into the party. There's alcohol at this party. Young gentleman tries to sneak in this party. One of the security guards slaps this kid. I don't know what the mitigating circumstances around there, but he slaps this kid. Obviously, it's a situation now. Pushing and shoving, going back and forth. It gets controlled, right? They get rid of these people out of the party, and we think we're okay. End of the night, we leave. We go downstairs, we start to leave. We see people, this was held at a hotel, we see people from the parking lot running back into the lobby of the hotel screaming. Screaming that these people have bats. So we're heroes. We're tough. We go outside because we run towards danger, right? You're security guards and doormen. We're young, full of piss and vinegar. Run out there. There's like 20 guys waiting for us with baseball bats and axe handles.
Wow. Axe handles?
Axe handles.
Holy smoke.
And you can see some whiskey bottles out in the parking lot. It's going to be a long night for us.
Wow.
A long night for us. So, you know, we got into a couple of fights and everything. Kali actually helped me. Huba actually helped me to defuse basically an axe handle swing. And that actually helped me when this guy swung on my head. And so, like, it was like Roadhouse. Like, you know, it was crazy. And the police showed up. The police showed up. 3 squad cars showed up. And one of them...
Let me ask you a question here, because I've always wanted to know this. As security guards and as bouncers and all that, private security, how much more rights do you have?
No, we're civilians, dude. We're making like citizens arrests and everything. We're not anything special.
So it's the same. It's the same.
Yeah. Do you think we're like people may like think you're special? Like you got these heightened powers? No, you're not. You know, you could just do like a.
So that slap,
arrest. Yeah.
that slap that happened was an assault.
Yes, and like, but again, we don't. I didn't see the situation and everything,
Yeah,
so
you
I don't
heard
know
about
what's
it,
going
yeah.
on, right? So, obviously, it was the catalyst for this particular situation. So, the police show up. One of them, being an East Indian individual, he jumps up on the car, and he's speaking to everyone. Please stop, desist, and everything. And they're able to.
The police officer.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's 3 squad cars. They get up and they're standing on top of their car, using a bullhorn, telling them to cease and desist and everything. And we're still going at it. And after a while, the police is begging us to get into our car and run away. The police tells us to get in our car and escape. They can only hold them off for X amount of minutes.
The police told
And
you
that's what we do. We get in our car and we run away.
That means that they were probably about to call SWAT.
Whatever. We don't think part of that. Yeah, I don't want to hang around and know what's going on. But yeah, tuck your tail and run.
Wow.
Tuck your tail and run. And or I said you had 2 choices. You have the choice of running away. Maybe you can't run away. You can't run away. You better be 100% convinced to deal with that situation then. So if a person steps up to you, and this is my personal journey, guys, right? Like I said, you need to know the law, your ethical, moral ramifications, religious, your ethics, all that kind of stuff. Spend some time with yourself first. What's the extent of your self-defense training, right? How much damage are you willing to do to another person to defend yourself, right? This is purely individual, guys. But, like, you need to decide for yourself how much force you're going to use against this person. You can't escape safely. You can't leave, right? You need to now stop this threat. And what does that entail? Double leg takedown, whatever. I don't know what it is for you, right? But you need to visualize that stuff before you get into an altercation. You really do. A lot of role playing and visualization in your mind. So that's my personal thoughts when it comes to self-defense. I think you need to train athletically, and you need to be in the proper mindset. And mind setting, whatever that entails, a lot of different facets, is a perishable skill. You need to drill it over and over and over and over. The fun stuff is smashing bags, but if you're studying martial arts for self-defense, you need to work on your awareness. You need to work on your mind setting. You need to understand your attacker's psychology. You need to know what you're willing to do in a combat situation. What are the laws associated with self-defense, etc., etc.? Are you going to break the law? I'm not advocating that, but are you going to do that? You know, you hear people throw on the phrase, better to be tried by 12 than carried by 6. Well, whatever. That's your philosophy. Good for you. You know what I mean? But you know, your family's going to suffer. You're in jail. You're paying a lawyer like 10 figures to get out of jail, or the civil litigation that ensues afterwards. There's a lot of problems that come with a self-defense situation. Run away.
Wow.
On cameras, people they're not quick to jump in. People are taking a videotape of the situation. There may not be any audio available.
Yeah, exactly.
So you may be sitting there going, hey, put the knife down, put the knife down, put the knife down. And you only see the fact he's got a knife on his waistband, but the video's not capturing that. The audio's not capturing that. And you decide to sucker punch this person because you feel like he's going for his knife on his waistband. You got to prove that.
It's funny because law enforcement has that issue all the time.
Yeah,
because
of course.
Whenever there's videos made,
yeah,
there's only one. There's
sure.
only one side, or they don't hear.
Yeah,
it,
you don't hear the audio too. Like you don't hear what's going on. Like this guy could be telling the officer or you that he's gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you, and you're like, oh my god, he's gonna kill me. So that's why I hit him first. And that's not really evident on someone's like video camera on their iPhone, right? So you have to keep that in mind. So like I think when people sit there and go, I'm gonna like just punch them in the face and yada yada yada, like, yeah, okay, sure, but there are a lot of consequences to your actions, and you need to be comfortable with that. You need to be comfortable with what those actions are. I trained like this soldier, and I said, are you willing to possibly take your thumbs and drive it into their eye socket? Would you be willing to do that? This paratrooper, he says, nope, I'm not willing to do that. Fine, let's move on. All right, we gotta look for another technique for you. So you need to find like what will work for you, and that's what I like about Jeet Kune Do. If it's properly trained, is that you need to like find the techniques that best suit you. And you know, you may discard this technique and go, that technique sucks. That's for old people. Yeah, when you get old, then you may actually have to revisit that particular combination or technique and go, yeah, that technique and tactic now has validity nowadays.
So going back now to the Mafa days and all, and now this is kind of the start of your business journey. So you left the club for very
personal reasons,
personal reasons, and how was that journey? So now we're back into the parking lot, in the shade of that.
Right.
So tell me from there, what happened?
Holy crow! Like so. It's quite a long time, about 18 years ago. So like the shorthand version is this. So I hooked up with a business partner, one of my students, and we went to Gold's Gym. So that's the first practical location. And we were in Gold's Gym on Rockwood Mall in Burnthorpe and Dixie area. And it was approximately 2,000 square feet. Henderson Thorne gave me my first opportunity. He was a participant in the Miss Olympia.
Yeah, wow.
So he gave me my first time. And I went in there to teach. It was 2,000 square feet, excuse me. I had to leave. We quickly grew it out of it.
Wow.
So I went to my own place of 3,500 square feet. 3,500 square feet, and I took on a third business partner. And I'll talk about this in a few seconds. And then after that move, we went on to 5,000 square feet within probably like another 2 years.
Wow.
If,
what years was that?
I'm really bad with timeline.
Yeah.
But it's about a year or 2 years after that, right?
Okay.
And then after that, we went to our 5,000. We jumped to 10,000. Down the street, Kamado.
Yeah, brilliant facility.
Kept growing. We had a fourth business partner. And then we put a hole in the wall. We're growing so much, we grew to 15,000 square feet.
Wow.
And then from that location, we moved to our current location and downsized to 13,500 square feet.
Still a pretty facility.
And with new business partners, I have one business partner right now.
Beautiful.
Right.
Wow.
So we had a changeover in management, so to speak, and difference of opinions.
Yeah.
So I will have to say, my business journey, I've done everything wrong. Everything wrong. And when people talk about passion, yes, there is passion, and that is the one thing that allowed me to survive. Passion allowed me to survive because my students, when I first started off Combat Arts, right? Just like Bruce Lee, there really shouldn't have been a name. I didn't really want a name for the club. To be totally honest, the reason why I had a martial arts club, for want of a better term, is for selfish reasons. I wanted to basically train with the best guys. I didn't have a car. I used to take the bus. To people's houses and do their private lessons with them. I was the guy in the bus with sticks, pads. People thought I was like nuts. I would sit on the bus
assassin!
Yeah, I would sit on the bus reading knife magazines, martial arts magazines, gun and ammo magazines. So nobody bothered me on the bus because I'm reading gun magazines, right? They go, oh my God, this crazy short person. He looks like a modern day version of David Carradine. He's got like these knives sticking out of his bag, sticks, pads, and he's
Did you ever pick up a client from the bus?
No.
Okay.
No. And I would travel. I would lose money. I would lose money on the bus teaching private lessons just to get my name out there. And so when I finally had a place, I just wanted a place where I could teach my private lessons, share my knowledge of martial arts, and I wanted to learn martial arts. I wanted to train in martial arts. It's purely selfish. So I wanted to see the best guys in boxing, the best guys in Muay Thai, the best guys in Jiu-Jitsu, and I wanted to have them in close proxemics to me so I could learn from them, share, and then inversely share their knowledge with my students. That's what I wanted to do. That was it. To be honest, Combat Arts grew out of control. It was purely an accident.
Wow.
And
fascinating.
It was an accident because it grew out of my passion of having great people around me all the time. I always want to have good people around me, great people and technical people, great technical people around me, and I wanted to share my martial arts with people. Now something happened. Some of these technical people were not good people. They were not good people. And over the years of combat arts, they left. And I'm grateful for that, to be honest. But instead of being mindful of my culture, I wanted to be around technical people and good people. People who cared for their students, not just come in and teach and leave. So now there was the technical aspect and the cultural aspect of combat arts, and that was really, really important. And in my role,
so are you saying that like the culture that we see today that evolved? It wasn't always.
No,
like that?
It wasn't like there was parts of that. Like there was definitely sure. Like I wasn't saying all the instructors were bad at combat arts, but there were a few bad eggs. I'll be totally honest at combat arts who I'm glad they left. You know what I mean? And I kept them around because technically they were good. Man, they were good. You know, and I have my personal definition in my lexicon, in my dictionary, of a coach versus an instructor. You know, I think there's a distinct difference, right, between those two. To me, these guys are great instructors. They're technically and tactically sound. They're amazing. But people persons, we just don't see eye to eye. And, you know, they don't share the same values with me. And I wanted them, you know, I wanted a good positive influence on my students. And I could see my role changing, too, with my students. Students would come to me about their personal issues and stuff like that. I go, oh my God, how can I lead you with my personally? Because my personal life is also in disarray. It's in chaos. You know, I live on my own. I'm trying to get my life together. I'm trying to learn how to run a business. I don't really know anything about business. I know about math and science. I could probably take apart your car and everything, but you know, I'm not really good at business aspects. So going back to the beginning, people talk about passion and everything. Passion will only get you so far. It's one of the biggest lies out there. You know, passion is good because like it'll get you going when like the roads are really tough. Like when you want to quit. And there are times I want to quit. You like there's like, oh dude, I don't want to get out of my bed. I'm tired of this stuff. You know, there's the martial arts teaching aspect of it, but there's a lot of the paperwork and administrative that's involved in the business, the admin stuff. And you know, there's passion. So I would have to also say too, when it comes to business, you need to have skills. If you don't have skills, good luck. You're dead.
So what did you do?
I got the right people around me.
Okay.
I got started to get the right people around me. People who knew the books, knew accounting, knew about investing. What's your exit plan? You know, what are you going to do? How are you going to exit your business? How are you going to improve your game? You have to have mentors. You know, when did I have martial arts instructors that teach me privately. Why do I not have business mentors? You need to also have that too. You need to have mentors and coaches for all aspects of your life. You have religious or faith coaches, mentors that help you too, right? So those were lacking in my life. You know, you think you know everything. Oh, passion's going to help you. We'll just figure it out. Yeah, I figured it out over 18 years with a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes, a lot of errors. A lot of people took advantage of me. You know, we'll talk about it later on, but I had some very, very bad business partners who tried to take combat arts away from me. You know, that's a different saga in itself. So you learn like, okay, passion is one thing, but passion will only take you so far. You need skills. You need a skill set. And if you don't have that, you're going to have a hard time. So for example, you're passionate about martial arts. Okay, good, awesome. Go in the ring and spar.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
How long is that going to last?
Yeah, exactly.
You get beat up, come back out. Ah, coach, it's okay. You blow the blood out of your nose. I'm still passionate about it. Put me back in, coach. You know, I still have my left arm. It's still working. Throw you back in. Next day. You get beat up. Come back out. It's okay, coach. I can do it again. Okay, realistically, you're passionate. How long is this really going to last for you?
And mind you, I heard the old school way of training was this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely for sure. It's like a puppy mill. We just throw people through and hopefully we'll get a champion one day. And a lot of martial arts schools are like that. You talk about fighting schools. There's a lot of fighting schools who don't necessarily care about their students, who just take a whole bunch of students, they ran them through the funnel, and we're going to get one champion out of 50. We're going to smash them and destroy them. They're not going to build athletes. Now, for sure now, do they have that one great athlete? Yes, they do. And do we need athletes like that to represent Canada on an international arena? Definitely we do. But sometimes their training methodologies can be questionable. You know, because they could probably have 50 champions if they had changed their training methodology instead of using the old school puppy mill kind of way. You know, so those are the two things definitely for sure you need. I feel for a business is passion and skills.
How is the market now? Let's say there's a budding martial artist who's a black belt or a Muay Thai champion or high level certification JKD. They want to start up. What advice would you give them?
It's definitely saturated. We have a lot of martial arts schools in the GTA area. You know, so we had 2 schools that opened up close by us that had a lot of money, a beautiful gym and everything, fancy facility and everything. How do we smash those clubs? How do we do better than those clubs? Sorry guys, we actually offer great instruction and we care for our students. I know it sounds corny, everyone goes, yeah, we do that too. You have to really question for yourself. Do you have instructors that come in, teach the class, and just leave right afterwards? They're not willing to spend time with the students and give them advice and make them better. Do you have instructors in your school that are there to pick up a paycheck and leave? Our instructors spend time with the students and are part of their lives. Martial arts is not life. It is part of your life though. And we understand that with our students, all right? The other thing too is work on those 2 things plus the third thing. The third thing I have to say for a business person is what I'm trying to learn right now is your social skills or influence. And I find now because of social media, we're getting distant from each other. You know, we're trying to...
That's interesting.
Yeah. And like,
you find that?
Yeah, it's cool for marketing purposes and everything and putting out stuff like that. Just make sure you're being authentic. Make sure for sure you're spending some time with your students. Make sure you're getting back to the community. Honestly, like, I was born in Hamilton, but I pretty much moved to Mississauga right away. And so I've been here my whole life. So I'm an integral part of Mississauga. And we give back to our community. We have the Cancer Association stuff, the diabetes stuff. Edgar, my business partner, he's so heavily into the community. You know, he's always doing making food drive, helping the homeless and everything. We are like part of the community. And you know what? It should be expected of us. We've been around for 18 years. We are a large martial arts facility. It should be expected of us to contribute back to the community.
That's awesome.
So you need to have, any business should do that. Like 3 things. It's like, yes, it's passion. Yes, you need to have the skills. Get some mentorship. Learn. Have the white belt mentality, not just to your industry, but learn about the other stuff. Now, do you have to be an expert at accounting, an expert at marketing? No, but you should know the basic ideas of that kind of stuff. And number 3, for gosh sake, develop some social skills. Go there, talk with people, be part of your community, you know, spread your influence, hear what people out there are doing. How can you help them? How can you make them better? Those are the 3 things that we are doing right now to improve Combat Arts. We did them in the past, maybe subconsciously or unconsciously, accidentally. But now we're making a concerted effort in those 3 areas, and that's how we're getting better.
And I think it's amazing. One thing that I've seen, especially in the local areas, clubs get together, right, to help each other's athletes.
Yeah, for sure.
I see that a lot here, where other schools come by and you train, you know, and
yeah, those old days of like oh, I have some ninja secrets you can't learn and stuff like that. Good luck. There's nothing secret anymore. I can show you my ninja secrets, my ninja training methodology, but and you may do it for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but the secret for us is consistency. We are consistent no matter what. Training with us can be boring. It can be boring, but we're consistent. And that's how we get champions. And who cares about champions? We have good people, better people. You know, that's the whole idea behind martial arts, and something that I try to advocate for Combat Arts, is that for me, martial arts has made me a better person. You know, and I'm a big advocate of how martial arts makes you a better person outside of the dojo, out of the training area. And we need to get back to that. We need to get back to that. Like, people go like, why would I put my son in martial arts versus soccer and stuff like that? We make an effort to make your child better. Loyalty, honesty, discipline, focus. Be a better person. You know, interject when someone's in trouble, where there's a bullying situation. Help that person out. That's the beauty about martial arts.
Now, for those parents who, and I get this question a lot too. So for our listeners, those parents who are considering martial arts for their children, right? Some parents, depending on, their different religious beliefs or beliefs in general, they may get an idea that, I don't want him to learn how to fight. It's violent. I don't want him to, beat up someone or this and that. What do you feel? I mean, obviously you have an amazing kids program here as well, but what's your opinion on that? I mean, does martial arts, there are amazing positives that we've talked about, but what advice do you always tell parents when they say, I'm not sure, if I should enroll my kids or...
Definitely for sure, I could see it from a parent's perspective, through media and everything, and you hear bullying issues, that can be a very big concern for them. It comes down to the communication between the student, the instructor, and the parent. And yes, it is a physical technique. It is martial arts. Martial arts is about defending yourself, all right? But you should seek out a school where the emphasis is on character development. All right, that's what they should be looking for. And that means talking to the instructor, watching classes, doing an introductory program to see if those tenets, those values are being taught in class. If it's always about choking a person out or punching them in the face and there's no character development and no teaching of restraints and when and how to use these particular techniques, that's probably not the best school for you.
And when we look at, so for example, when we talk about the instructors team and the coaches team, how do you select instructors? How do you select coaches? Do you have a quality control program or I know that sounds really corporate, but I'm just thinking is there a way or a methodology of how you select?
So that's a great question, actually. That's really good. So for sure, we're always looking for volunteers to help out, and we're looking for instructors in development. So we would seek out, obviously, a senior instructor in our adult class and everything, or our teen class, who we feel honestly shares the qualities of our martial arts school. Good character, they're patient, they're willing to help other people, they want to see other people improve. We would invite that particular person into our instructor development program. We actually have a syllabus of how to instruct our instructors.
So you have a program?
Yes, we do.
Oh, wow.
And we meet monthly to make sure we're all up to speed on any teaching issues, any particular student issues, etc., etc. Our instructors who deal with the kids go to the police station and get a vulnerable sector check. So they get a police check to see if there's any record against them. Have they committed a crime against a particular vulnerable sector, which entails the elderly, youngsters, children, and animals.
Wow.
So you need to get a police record check here at Combat Arts.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all of our coaches here that deal with kids specifically, hands-on, must hand in every year a vulnerable sector check through our local police force.
Excellent.
So this is how, for us, we actually check, we make sure we have that system in.
Wow.
And then obviously, we have something called a student board. Our student board basically sits down with us, they're representatives from each class, and they tell us the concerns they have with the class. So we have
it's like a council, like a
it's a council,
council.
And they tell us, they tell the owners, they sit down with the owners and they tell us what their concerns are with the class.
Wow.
And then in turn, we share with them things like our advertising, and what do you think is a new program we want to introduce to the class? Do you think this would be a good class we want to introduce? So it's a give and take with our community here. That's the way we look at it. And that's why we get along. We all get along. We have so many different tribes here. We have a boxing tribe, a Muay Thai tribe, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tribe. We had a parent that told us the other day that they feel comfortable that their kids can run around the school and talk to any adult here in the school. That's key and critical for us. Of course, we have security cameras all over the club too, right? Fortunately, nothing has happened. But we actually have that security device there too.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, speaking about your history and kind of the rise of combat arts and everything, I can't help to think that when we look at the UFC, we look at K1, we look at Pride, it seems, what I find interesting is it almost parallels the timeline. That we see a rise in MMA, reaching, the media or TV and all that, and obviously the interest in that. What's your view on combat sport today as it pertains to, let's say, the UFC, K1. I'm not sure what's going on with K1, but let's say the UFC or Bellator,
right,
or any of these. I think there's Bellator kickboxing,
right,
and how I guess the fantasy and the reality in the terms of like when the Ultimate Fighter came on, like basically the UFC, for example, credits the Ultimate Fighter TV show.
Right.
They say when that TV show came on, people got a chance to see the athletes train, what they went through, and then that amazing fight between Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner that basically shattered TV ratings, and all that. WWE was going, oh my God, what's happening, right? So how have you seen the influence of promotions in combat sport and actually affecting the school?
It's funny you mention that because my interpretation of this might be a little bit jaded, because not jaded, but how do I say it? I don't know if taint is the right word and everything, because I'm always seeing it every day. All right, but so generally across the horizon, what I do see, I see stand-up striking arts like Muay Thai, K1, all that kind of stuff doing really well. I see them slowly getting more recognition, but they're not getting paid. These athletes are not being taken care of. So I see, from my point of view, maybe because I'm in the Muay Thai arts, maybe my view is biased, but I see like the striking arts or stand-up arts are doing really, really well. I see it growing, but I don't see the athletes being taken care of. I really, really don't. Now, from my striking athletes and other striking athletes I talk to, they want to move over to MMA.
Because of the money?
The money. And they feel they're going to get paid more when they go to MMA. And from my point of view, I find MMA is growing slowly here in North America. Really slowly. To the point that how in our martial arts school, and a lot of reasons why, right? Because of the law and everything. We don't have amateur MMA anymore. We have professional MMA. MMA in Ontario is pretty much a disaster, right? But pretty much most of the schools in the whole area have gotten rid of their MMA program and their MMA cages. It's done. It's gone.
We used to have a cage?
Yeah, we got rid of it. Here. And the reason why we got rid of it was twofold. There's no competitions for our athletes, so we got rid of it. We just got rid of it.
So in okay, so let's say Canada or let's say Ontario, there's no amateur MMA?
Yeah, it's not sanctioned right now. There's they're having some. I don't even know what's going on, to be honest. There seems to be some confusion about the governing body with regards to amateur MMA. But professional MMA is okay. I know it's kind of retarded, it's kind of backwards, but that's just the way it is. And then I find that we were attracting just the wrong kind of crowd for MMA.
What do you?
Guys would just come in and just want to spar.
Yeah.
And I found when I talked to other business owners, this was the same problem. They found that they're attracting the wrong kind of crowd because of the UFC show. They're attracting these idiots. These people who are on the UFC show, they're not really the best stand-up kind of people. Whether for real or not, they're acting like, not the best kind of person on these shows, maybe to get the ratings up and everything. And we're attracting those people in our schools. We got rid of the program. And I know a lot of schools got rid of the program, got rid of their cages, because they don't want that kind of person in the school. Now we're going back to being martial artists.
Interesting.
Martial artists is what we're looking for. And there are a few MMA guys who I like, who I think are martial artists. GSP, George St. Pierre comes to light here, right? So, I feel, right, and again, my view may be limited and everything, because I'm more into stand-up arts. I find that, the stand-up arts is pretty growing and everything. There's a lot of opportunities for stand-up guys. They're just not getting paid, though. They're not getting the money. And I see some stand-up guys want to move over to MMA because they want the cash.
How about jiu-jitsu? It seems that the jiu-jitsu community is growing quite a bit.
Jiu-jitsu is such a great art. You see it growing. You see, I see some more paid opportunities for our jiu-jitsu athletes. Again, it's hard. It really is, because there's so many jiu-jitsu athletes. I guess it would be hard to get any carding or sponsorship for them. But I do see more events opening up for them. Definitely, for sure.
And how about the traditional, like the karate, the taekwondos, the kung fus? Business-wise, or what from the community, how are they doing?
Give and take. There's lows and highs for them, just like any martial arts schools. I hear some of them are doing really, really well, and some of them who have not been able to adapt to the latest trends, they're not doing as well. And when I say meaning adapting to the latest trends, the schools I see doing really well, the traditional martial arts schools, they're advocating and pushing character development. And parents want that. Parents need that nowadays for their kids. You know, kids growing up nowadays, they have different challenges than when you and I grew up,
100%.
right? And for sure, they could get latched on to a mentor or an idol, but the wrong one really quickly. The world is smaller. They could jump on YouTube and start following somebody, and that person may not be the best person for them. You know, the best one giving them the advice. They definitely seem to need some more positive influence in their life. And then again, there are some bad instructors out there. So we try to have these standards for our instructors. The vulnerable sector check, the qualifications of instructorship, etc., etc.
Now, have you seen a situation where there was someone who initially, you know, quote unquote, was maybe a negative personality or a challenging personality, kind of transformed their life? You know, have you seen situations where?
Yeah, actually, you know what's funny? I had a scary episode a long time ago. You know, it's so bad. Oh man, I'm usually great with names. That's what I pride myself on. But I forgot this guy's name. Anyway, this person reached out to our Combatives Facebook page, and he said he was looking for me. And he put my name out there, and I answered all the Combatives Facebook feeds. But I guess when I answered back, it's under a different name. It's under Combatives Facebook. So I answered him back. I go, yeah, Joey is gonna be here on this date. You can meet him then. And I was kind of like worried. Like, this guy has called out my name. He wants to meet me. Yada yada yada. So this kid showed up. I was prepared. Like, you know, I was getting ready. I don't know if this guy is like.
Did you get your ninja?
Yeah. I turned off the lights. You know, I got ready for this guy. I had smoke bombs ready for this guy.
Rambo music.
Yeah. And so this guy shows up, and you know, he looks familiar, but not really familiar. I don't call him David, for example. You know, it's really bad. I forget his name, right? So this guy shows up. We'll see his name is David, for example. And so he goes, oh, do you remember me, Joey? I go, no, I don't. He goes, my name is David. I go, no, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here and everything. And he goes, long time ago when I was a teenager, excuse me, guys. When I was a teenager, I didn't have any money. And I came to you because I wanted to study Jeet Kune Do.
Wow.
You offered, an exchange. You helped clean the club, and you could train. So I gave him some responsibilities.
Amazing exchange.
Yeah. You know, the good kid and everything. His mother wanted him to stay out of trouble. He used to get into a lot of trouble as a kid, right? So I said, no problem. So I got this kid to train. He cleaned the club for me. He would train. Great time. And then one time he was missing. He went missing. And his mom came one day. I go, hey, what happened to your son, David? I haven't seen him for a while. Well, he had fallen back into the wrong crowd. He got into a fight with some multiple attackers. And someone had taken a skateboard to his head, beat him with a skateboard, all right, and put him into a coma. And that was the last I ever heard of their family. So now, that was him, David.
Wow.
This kid comes back into my life.
Yeah.
He woke up from his coma, fell back into the wrong crowd. Devinder. And went to jail for armed robbery.
Oh, man.
Went to jail for armed robbery. Got out of jail, and guess what? He said, I need to get back into JKD.
Wow.
Studied practicing martial arts on his own. Went back to school, graduated from college, and started training on his own in martial arts. And he wanted to show up at the academy and tell me that. He goes, you were on my mind. When I got out of jail, you were on my mind. That I had to go back into martial arts. He didn't train with me, but he knew that the right thing to do was to like get himself disciplined, and he needed the discipline of martial arts. And I'm happy for him because like,
you must have felt like a million.
Oh, I did. You know, I felt like so amazing. And now I remember who he was, and it came back into me a flood of memories. How this individual ended up in a coma. I didn't know he went to jail. I didn't know any of those aspects and everything.
So very transformative.
Yeah.
You know, martial arts.
And I see that a lot. And from people who don't even train with me anymore. They don't train with me. You know, they still take the martial arts lessons, and maybe they still train in martial arts, maybe they don't, but they remember those lessons. And the lessons is different for everyone. Focus, discipline, loyalty, help somebody out. You know, all that kind of stuff. And that to me is important. Like, that to me is the biggest lesson of martial arts. Because at the end of the day, this vehicle I have, this body, is going to die. It's going to end. You know, it's going to stop. Right? But it's my mind that's sharp. My ability, my conviction to follow my discipline, my goal setting, my focus. Be a good character. Be a good person. Help other people. That to me is what martial arts is all about. When things go hard against you, when things are really tough, because training could be brutal, how can you transfer that against the obstacles you face in your life? That's what martial arts is all about.
I gotta tell you something. You were Cobra Kai before. Now I see Mr. Miyagi. So, Mr. Miyagi is here.
It depends on like.
I was waiting for him.
On your knees,
wax
right?
on, wax off.
Yeah, it depends on the needs of the particular person at the life, right? So sometimes I gotta be a hard ass. I go, dude, you need to like get it together. And then sometimes like I try to guide them as much as possible. I don't know everything, and I'm glad, and I'm lucky that I have a great human database of people around me. I can refer people to other people for help. I'm very fortunate I have that in my life. That other people through the combat arts are willing to help each other out here. That's really, really important to me. But that made me feel great that he's doing that. And I hope he's doing really, really well through martial arts. That's what martial arts is all about for me. And that's what I want to teach. The physical stuff is cool. Smashing bass, choking people out. Yeah, whatever. That's pretty neat stuff and everything. But how do we transfer those particular skills to everyday life? That's the battle for me. That's the personal battle for me, is trying to get that through to my students.
That's odd. That is such music to my ears.
Thanks.
Because and that's kind of what that's what martial arts means to me in my life.
Yeah.
And many people who study and train, right? And I think that's why it's a lifetime thing.
It is a lifetime thing
because it's just one of those things. That,
it's not going to end.
You evolve.
Yeah, it's not going to end, right? Like the other day, like there's days I just like anybody else. Like I get up and I'm like, oh man, I want to give up. I want to quit. I've had enough. And then someone showed me a video they did of combat arts. This student did a video of combat arts. And you guys, look at this video I did for school. So I go, okay, all right, let me check this video. I have like 10,000 things I have to do. So I checked this video. Man, this video is amazing, showing all these different students of different demographics, different backgrounds here at Combat Arts, of different needs that we're trying to satisfy here at Combat Arts. And you can see the different kind of students, different kind of body types, guys who are in great shape, people who are on the journey of getting in great shape, older people, younger people, studying all the different martial arts we offer here. But you know what? They're all here to get better. And I go, man, I'm contributing to that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I am contributing to this person getting better. I am in a lucky situation.
What was it, a documentary?
Yeah, it's a short video about like why you should train in combat arts. And we're going to showcase it one day on our website and everything.
Oh, nice.
But what was so cool about it is that I am able to contribute that, and I like to think I'm the catalyst where it trickles down to my instructors, their senior students, and they help each other out at getting that idea across. We're just trying to get better. We're trying to get successful. And martial arts is that physical vehicle for that.
Beautiful.
You're improving your jab, you're improving your judo takedown, whatever. But that should be taken over to your everyday life. Let us all get better together.
That's awesome.
And it could be like one step every day. And that's the problem with martial arts. Is like sometimes you don't really know what good martial arts looks like. You think like look like those guys in the UFC, but it's a real journey. And this other guy, this student, I like learning from my students. My students teach me so much. One of my students was telling me, Freedom, I was telling him about when you get a goal, you should celebrate. And people don't. They don't celebrate their goals. And that's sad. Because then your life becomes a list of to-do. What's next?
Next? So you mean once you've achieved, like for example, there's long-term goals, short-term goals.
Yeah.
Once you achieve like a milestone and a goal, you should celebrate.
You should. And I'm not advocating you go buy a $5,000 TV. Go have a coffee, sit down, and go, man, I did it. Give yourself that recognition and say it. I did it today. I paid off my credit card today. I did that test today. That to me personally is a big milestone. Because unfortunately, they're your goals. And what I mean by that is nobody else is going to cheerlead you. You could tell someone that you did this, you got your green shorts in Muay Thai or whatever. Nobody else really understands what that means.
Yeah, exactly. Correct.
And in Freedom, one of my students, man, he taught me a lesson like I learned from all my students. He celebrates the process.
Wow.
And that was like, wow, that was cool.
Yes.
You're here, you're hitting the bag, you hate it, I'm yelling at you, your shins are bruised, but yeah, you're alive. You made it here. You're breathing. You're almost dying. but you're doing it. Celebrate the fact that you're alive. Celebrate the fact that you're hitting the bag. You're smashing it. You love this. You got here. You're doing it. This is what you signed up for. This is what you want to do. This is part of the process. And I was like, I thought that was pretty cool. I go, yeah, that should be cool, because the grind sucks.
No, because we don't.
The grind sucks.
Our society, really, like you said, focuses on the to-do list.
Yeah.
Right?
What's next?
What's that? But we never, it's true. All these things about self-improvement, be in the moment, right? Is what you just talked about. We don't.
Yeah, and I always joke around. And like a guy goes, "Oh, my leg is sore." I go, "Oh, you're lucky you have 2 legs." I'm always yelling at you guys, right? And you're lucky you have 2 legs.
Yeah.
No, you are.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you're fortunate, right? Like, you have a roof over your head. You're lucky you showed up today. You're performing. You're doing well. You know what? I know it's painful. It sucks. You're almost dying. But dude, your lungs are sucking in air. You're so lucky. Enjoy the process. So, like, to me, that was cool. When I heard that, I was like, man, I gotta remind that for myself. Like, even though I go through hard times like everyone else. I do too. I have the same issues like you guys. And there are days I want to quit. That's part of the process. There are days when you're gonna question yourself. There are days your family are gonna tell you to quit. There are days that people say, like, no, why are you doing this for? And you need that martial arts solid, that strength to go, you know what? I'm going to fight through. I'm going to fight through it. This is part of the process. I'm expected to fail. I'm expected to take a step back. You have to accept that. That's just the way it is. But we always hear the phrase, it's how you pick yourself up. And that is so true. Get back on it. Enjoy the process. You may never achieve that goal. I have a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, who unfortunately, he's one of my best friends and an accomplished martial artist, an accomplished fighter. He was paralyzed from the waist below. And you know what? Amazing accolades. This guy is like amazing. And I remember him and I talking about, we enjoy our training. He enjoyed every minute of training, the good and the bad, the wins and the losses. And now he can't train martial arts to his fullest capability. But I can tell you right now, he was in the flow. He was in the moment when he trained. And yes, he complained, but he picked himself up no matter what. And that's the most important aspect of martial arts. Pick yourself up no matter what. I like martial arts because, like, I know I'm babbling incessantly here, but I like martial arts because, like, when you ever get in there alone, whether it's you do a full contact stick fighting, you get on the mat by yourself, you get in the ring by yourself, there is a team that got you there. There is a team that got you there no matter what. Athletic therapists, your coaches, your supplementation coach, your nutritionist, etc., your mindsetting coach, they got you there. You're in the ring by yourself. Everything you do now is on you. Good or bad, you deal with the consequences. That's life.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, that's life.
That's life.
Life. Yeah.
We have our family. We have our coaches. We have
mentors, spiritual mentors. Yeah,
all that.
Yeah.
But you're on the ring.
You pull the trigger.
Yes.
Yeah, and should I marry this person?
Yes.
You ask all your friends, should I marry this girl? Da 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 da. Yay, nay, yada yada yada. You live with the consequences, good or bad. And then consequences is like whatever, harsh word, right?
Yeah, whatever it is.
Should I buy this house? Should I quit this job and do that? You could ask everyone for advice. You could have a great team behind you. Put up a lot of analytics, pros and cons. You pull the trigger. You have to live with it. And same with a fighter, and I use that in quotes unquotes, when you step on the mats by yourself. Everyone's a fighter here. Everyone's an athlete here. Everyone's a fighter here, right? They don't necessarily have to be in the ring making money to be a fighter. Everyone has challenges in life, right? But you have to make those choices in real time, in the ring, on the mat, when you're getting hit by a stick. That's just the way it is.
Now I wanted to actually, it's interesting you mentioned something. Did you ever want to, like, become a pro fighter?
I wish, but I had some challenges growing up. And you know what? My challenges were self-inflicted. There's no one else to blame. Challenges are my environment, right, which I could have controlled. And looking back then, I could have controlled it, right? I was on my own since a young age. And I had a hard time on being on my own. Looking for work, I rented a room. It was tough for me, challenging. Renting a room, going to university and working. I worked 2 jobs, aerospace engineering, renting a room.
Wow.
I couldn't do it.
Wow.
But other people did. But there are other people who did it though.
But that was that was a goal? Like you wanted
Yeah,
to fight?
I did wanted to fight and everything. And I'll tell you...
What art?
I wanted to do anything that allowed me to hit people. So, sorry guys, boxing, Muay Thai, or MMA. I like hitting people, right? I just did, right? I'm better at grappling. I know it sounds hard to say. I'm better at grappling. But, there's a good satisfaction, unfortunately, guys. Sorry. This is my Cobra Kai. There's a good satisfaction.
Cobra Kai's back.
I've been hitting somebody with a good shot, right? I'm sure there's some people out there who understand my mentality. But, it was tough for me. But you know what? There are people who did it. They wanted it more. I didn't want it more.
So it's interesting you just talked about this point. Because I was talking to another one of the coaches that I train with here. And he said something really interesting once. And one of the things he asked me was, he goes, for my goals, he said, how bad do you want it? How bad? How much do you want it?
Right.
And I didn't realize that statement until I saw the fighter.
Right.
I mean, his philosophy is he trains everybody like he trains a fighter. Like, he holds that high kind of standard. And I realized about a year later, he didn't ask me. He wasn't asking me how bad I wanted. He was asking me, "Are you all in?"
Yeah, for sure.
Like there's a big difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that can change.
Right. The semantics of what you're saying, it's totally different, right?
Right. So the thing is that what I've understood, and what I've seen, a lot of fighters are in that position.
Yeah.
They don't. There's no money. There's they're literally they're part of...
They're artists.
Yeah.
Starving artists, right?
Yeah, starving artists.
Starving artists, right? And you're right, Devinder. So back then, I didn't want it enough. I recognize that now in hindsight.
Interesting.
And also, too, no fault of these coaches. The coaches I was with at that time were not coaches. They're instructors. And in my lexicon, my dictionary...
what's the difference?
There's a difference. So an instructor, and I've come across a lot of them, are great technically and tactically. But I realized I needed a coach. Someone that also tried to guide me in my life. And I needed it because I was going through a lot of distressing issues in my lifetime.
You mean like a life coach?
Yeah, a life coach that helped me how to balance my life and everything. These guys are great technically and tactically, but these are the same coaches that go drinking in the bar every night. And I didn't need that. I needed some also control and my balance in my everyday life, which was chaotic. It wasn't good. I was just surviving, and I needed more. I also knew I deserved more. I wanted more. Here's a guy who was in engineering. I wanted more. All right. So I needed someone who would also coach me, who I could look up to. I needed a father figure. I didn't know my father until I turned 16, 17. I was on welfare for 1 year. I was on social assistance for 1 year. I remember I walked in there. I was so embarrassed. I needed money so badly. I walked in. I needed social assistance. And I cried because I was so embarrassed. And I told my social worker, I'm only gonna be on this for 1 year. 1 year, I'm gonna be off. I guarantee you. I didn't want to be on this for the rest of my life. 1 year, less 3 days, I walked in.
Wow.
I said I stopped.
Wow.
I don't need it anymore. Give it to someone who needs it more than me.
Who needs it? Wow.
I don't need it. 1 year, less 3 days. I walked in. I'm gonna get off this. So for me, I had to work. I had to push myself hard. So for me, it was a matter of timing, whether training for a fight or starving.
I want to challenge you. You said something in the beginning. You said that, and I understand this from a business perspective, that you need passion, you need skills, you need that. But from what I'm hearing from your story, which is super cool, amazing. I mean, it's really inspirational, and I hope our listeners are inspired. I mean, this is.
Oh, thank you.
I don't even think a lot of your students may not even.
No, I'm a pretty.
So lucky,
guy.
very lucky to capture this. But as a person listening to your story, passion made you survive.
Oh, it did. Right? Passion was the driving force. Survive.
Like you said, right?
Survive. However, in hindsight, Devinder, in all sincerity, right, we made a lot of mistakes with our business too. And, all businesses make mistakes. Don't get me wrong, right? Looking back in hindsight, 2020 and everything, if we had taken the time to investigate better mentors, better business partners, taking the steps to do that and get the skill set, our plans we have for combat arts, we'd probably be ahead of those plans now by 5 years.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And it does matter, guys. It does matter. Like, passion is really important, especially for a fighter. Put on your wet MMA gloves, put on your wet shin pads. Rich, some of our guys train here twice a day. It's brutal training. All right.
It reminds me of what Dana White said when he started.
What do you say?
Dana White said, do you want to be an ultimate fighter?
Yeah, it's brutal.
Like he actually said, he goes, do you? He gave a lecture once to some of the guys. He said, do you really want to?
It's tough.
And it's funny because just like you were saying, sometimes you don't know what the ramification of that question is.
For sure.
Until hindsight, when you have nothing left in you, you're getting beat down. You're doing a composure drill, or you're in the ring, or whatever it is, right?
I trained a guy who fought. He would fight almost twice a month to make rent.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, come on. He's chasing the promoter all around the stadium looking for his money. Like, what? How can you live like that? And then, we tell them, like, oh, don't worry, take these values and, put it towards, like, your life. You also need skills. You really, really do. And that means asking for help sometimes. Finding the right mentors. Surround yourself with a great, positive, peer group. Birds of a feather flock together. You don't tell how you are or where you're going to be in 5 years, but the people you surround yourself with. We've seen that many times. We talk about first degree, second degree, third degree separation, where, you're trying to lose weight. You're trying to lose weight and everything, and maybe your wife, she's lucky, she's skinny, and she can eat whatever she wants. Well, what's going to happen? You're probably going to eat whatever she eats, and you're going to keep gaining weight. Your friends, they eat whatever they want, and they're gaining weight. Well, guess what? When you go down to social situations, you're gonna gain weight. So I'm not saying get rid of your friends.
Just have that one.
Don't get rid of your friends. Don't kick your wife out of curb here, right? Don't get divorced. Not advocating that, guys. Right? But what I am saying is
I have to change my peer group. That's what my coach told me.
Yeah, you should get a T-shirt that says that. But changing my peer group. But what I am saying, you gotta be conscious of that. You really, really do. So if you're out with your friends and you're like, wow, my friends, hey, blessed them, they're all skinny. They get to eat 5 burgers tonight. Good for them. I love them. But guys, my goals are different. I have to have a salad. And you have to recognize that. All right? Some people like to go drinking every night. And if you're sitting there going, why am I poor? Why is my wallet always empty? Yeah, well, at this time, you think socializing and making friends and going on dates is more important. You're going out every night with these guys, going drinking and everything. You're telling me that your social goal, one of your goals is economical savings, investments. No, it's not. It's socializing. So this is the kind of stuff we talk about, is like your positive peer group. We try to translate to our teen class. Like, are you surrounding yourself with good people? And all the kids in our classes are amazing. You bring your kids in here for private lessons and everything. They're amazing, and we want them to understand, like, we have a haven here for them.
Beautiful.
And this is the way it should be. Like, now, are there bullies out there? Yes. There are bullies in maybe your relationship, which could be sad. There are bullies in your family. You're going to come across them at Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner. And there are bullies in your workplace. And hopefully we're giving you the skills to deal with them. I'm not saying throat jab them. I'm saying that having the confidence to be able to speak to them, try to understand them. Where did it come from? Why are they like this? And like, if things get heated, go, okay, I'm going to walk away. You're the tough guy for today. That's it.
So let me ask you this. When you've trained a lot of different athletes and you've trained a lot of different caliber of athletes, when you look at a fighter, what are some of the, let's say if I were to say to you, the top 3 qualities of a really good fighter? How do you recognize that within your athlete? I know, besides the athletics, right? So we have the athletic side, but we've talked a lot about psychology and mindset. So as a person who develops that and the programs and selects the athletes, how do you pick in terms of, how do you see those, those things in an athlete, like the passion, or how do you differentiate?
Okay, so technical skill, tactical skill, we can always work on. That's a given, right? So are they coachable? Are they going to listen? All right, and are they listening from the coaching staff? All right, and we invest a lot in our athletes. We're lucky that we have a lot of people that volunteer their time here with us. From Gate 10, from Strong Athletes, from Sebastian, who's in-house here. He's an athletic therapist. We have a couple guys that sponsor our athletes. Rich from Omega Alpha that help with supplementation. all our extensive training staff, our coaching staff, like Sock, Sean, our Dave, our Muay Thai coaches, our boxing coaches. So I think I listen to our coaches, number one. Passion has to be there for sure. Because along with passion, consistency. Are they going to train? Are they going to come out to the training regimen? Are they going to do the stuff we asked them to do on their own? There's a lot of stuff we ask them to do on their own. Are they running? They're here with us for what? 2 hours a day. So, are they going to be consistent and diligent when it comes to nutrition? They're running. They're sleeping. Are they avoiding those social circles where they're drinking or there may be some recreational drugs involved? Are they surrounding themselves with a positive peer group? So are they going to be coachable? Are they going to be consistent? Another thing that has come up now is pressure. How does an athlete deal with pressure? Now,
so is that pressure of training, or is that pressure of the whole thing of what you
life?
Described?
Pressure and like we talk about what goes on in our private life, because it's hard to sit there and say these individual silos don't affect each other. People think there's my personal life, my work life, my training life. That's BS. They all are integrated circles. They all affect each other. You get into an argument with your wife, you come here to train. What's going to happen?
Yeah, you're not focused. Right.
Exactly.
Adrenaline dump.
Yeah, exactly. And they all interrelate with each other. Very few individuals can, leave that there and not allow them to affect their other circles of influence or other circles of play. So how do they deal with pressure? Do they get task saturated? If I ask you to do all this stuff, right? Can you actually perform in the ring under pressure? Some guys are tactically, they're really good. They look good on pads. They're amazing. They're doing all this kind of stuff. But the vendor in the ring, they fall apart. And it sucks. It really does
suck.
How
does that make you feel? It must be devastating.
Oh, man, it's disheartening because it really is. Because you see that this athlete has everything there. And no matter what, we can only do our part. And we will help him, of course, try to deal with pressure. But honestly, you're in the ring by yourself, if they don't know how to deal with the pressure, probably will never fight. Or they'll compete on an amateur level and they won't go far. And that's just it. Maybe they're okay. Maybe they're doing 1 or 2 one-offs. That's fine. That's okay. But would they go to be a national champion at amateur level, or would they go on to be a professional fighter? Probably not.
So basically what you're saying is that these fighters who take it, whether it's in amateur ranks or pro ranks, it's their ability to handle life and just the pressure of a fight.
Yeah.
And to
get your crap together at home. Get your stuff organized at home too. How's your family life? How's your work life? I have athletes that come to me to go, I'm gonna get back into fighting. I just did a focus on school. Good. Finish school. I don't want to see you here. You're doing yourself a disservice and your teammates if you're coming in here and you're distracted because you got to rush home and do your homework. I would rather you finish school, get a degree, finish that, then come back and focus on competing. That's more important to me. It really is. Martial arts is a lifelong endeavor. But right now, focus on your school.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I have a problem at home with my family. Focus on your family. That's important. Family is number one. You have to spend time with your family. We'll be here for competing. Or maybe in this part of your life, it's not part of your cards. That's just the way it is. And as a coaching staff and everything, and as a team, we all sit there together, and that's just, we all agree on that. We're all family here. That's just the way it is. That pressure that's coming in from that particular angle, from the family and school and everything, it's going to affect how you perform here. You want to get into the ring and be thinking about calculus when someone's trying to punch your head off?
Yeah. It's pretty dangerous.
It's pretty dangerous. And I don't want that to happen to my athletes. I don't. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with I don't need any medals. I don't need any trophies. I don't need any belts. Finish school, deal with your family issues, deal with that kind of stuff. You deal with your work issues. That's most important right now, honestly.
So that's an important message for all of our listeners out there, is that life is interconnected. It's integrated.
Yeah.
So if there's one part that's lacking, it does affect the whole. That's a very interesting. I never thought of that in terms.
Yeah, for sure. People think they could put it to little boxes here and there.
Compartmentalize.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly. I have such a hard time with that word. But you know what? You're absolutely correct, right? They think that it's easy. It's not. It's not. You get home. You've just had a really rough drive through the snow. You get here. You got the shakes. It takes you a few seconds to get calm before you get in here. Imagine that you came here, a winter storm, you get here, you're in the shakes, I throw you in the ring, spar.
Yeah, that you carry that stress.
Yeah, for sure. We need to recognize that. That's not possible.
Now, 2019.
Oh my gosh.
Is almost here. so a few things. Number one, New Year resolutions.
No, I don't really do your New Year's resolutions.
Sorry?
I don't really do New Year's resolutions.
No, but how about those people who do? And what's your opinion on New Year's resolutions? And what's up for Combat in 2019?
I I don't want to be sour on it, but I think New Year's resolutions are pretty useless. Sorry.
Well, what's the statistic for gyms?
Oh my gosh.
Gyms have the best business.
Oh yeah.
I mean, does that translate here too?
Yeah.
So the new year, you'll get a flood of people.
Yeah.
And by third month.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what it comes down to? I think I like to look at goals. And New Year's is a good time, I guess, to do it and everything. But I think a lot of people set themselves up for failure, and there's a couple of reasons why. Their goals are just too huge. They don't break it down. It's like eating an elephant. For example, if you're trying to get in shape, right? I have people come up to me and they go, "Here's my menu, my nutrition. I'm gonna train 5 days a week, 2 hours. I'm gonna do all this great stuff. Get 8 hours of sleep. Drink 2 liters of water." That's great. You're probably gonna last a week.
Yeah.
That's just
too many.
Yeah, and I think you need to chop it down. Why not just try to show up twice a week consistently? Show up twice a week for 1 month. That's it. Come in twice a week, have fun, be consistent. And then we can start adding more to it, right? The second thing too is that willpower, this idea of willpower, people think they have to grit through it. They watch the Rocky movies or any kind of movie where they're like, you know what, I just have to toughen it out. Good luck. Because the way our society is nowadays, our willpower gets sucked dry. By the end of your day at work, you've used all your energy making decisions, dealing with your family, relationships, dealing with your boss, all that kind of stuff. By the end of the day, you have no willpower whatsoever. So what's going to happen at the end of the day? You want to go home. I'd want to go home. You want to put your feet up, watch TV, and order some Kentucky Fried Chicken, have a beer. Because you have no more willpower to make those hard choices. So what do you have to do? You have to engineer your environment to win. To make those decisions easier for you. Especially at the end of the day, when you have no more willpower, you don't have the energy to make the right decisions for yourself. You're at the end of the day, you're tired, right, Devinder?
Yep.
So what do you do? What do you do? Your gym bag should be in your car.
I just started that, by the way. And you won't believe, I've never done that before. I started that a few months ago. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. Yes. I just grab my water bottle or my BCA drink, and I'm off. And it's awesome.
And how do you like it now?
It's good.
It's amazing, eh?
My bag is like a toxic waste.
Yeah.
Facility.
Probably. Yeah, it's probably really CDC.
I have to clean up once in a while.
For sure.
Thanks, honey.
Yeah.
but open my bag and
the stuff's flying out. Yeah. Zombie apocalypse.
But just that one change.
Yes. Yeah. That's it. So I hate running, and people hate when I run because when I run, people in China are complaining. I run like a rhino, right? So when I have to run, I will find every excuse not to run. My alarm goes off. My running shoes are right beside the bed. My heart monitor's there. My running clothes, everything is ready for me. You have to prepare. There's no excuses. I don't give myself a reason to make an excuse. Oh, I don't have my special earphones. Oh, I didn't pack my gym bag. I'm going to go home and get my gym bag. Good luck. Go home, get your gym bag. What's going to happen? Put my feet up. Honey wants you to fix the faucet. You're done. Good luck. So pack your gym bag in your car. Perfect, Devinder. All right. Already when you get here, you finish the gym, you finish your workout. All right. You're going home. You should already have your meal pre-planned already. If not, maybe you're a bachelor. Where can you go to pick up the proper food? Whole Foods, whatever. You need to make your environment situated in such a way for success. That's just the way it is. Freedom, who I mentioned earlier on, he's working on his second book. He finished his second book. He would show up every day at Second Cup to write 6 o'clock to 9 a.m. 6 o'clock to 9 a.m. So everything was prepped for him. He had his laptop by his bed. He would get up and go. But guess what he got? An accountability partner. he would have to show up at second cup, take a picture of himself at second cup, send it to his accountability partner. If he did not do that consistently for 2 months, he owed his partner $500.
Freedom's crazy.
Accountability.
Freedom, what are you doing?
Accountability partner, but we need it. We need accountability for our actions. We need mentorship.
That's amazing.
We lost that.
I mean,
yeah, we lost that stuff.
That's pretty serious.
We need that. We need it though. So you need to make accountability. Go, honey, man. If I don't go to gym 3 days out of the week, you get to take my credit card and go on a spending spree.
Joey just gave that as an example. Repeat. All right. Joey just gave that as an example.
You are going to go to the gym. Right? So you need to do that. You need to have accountability. You need to engineer your environment in such a way for success. This idea of willpower, yeah, it's there. Don't get me wrong. But we may draw upon it when you're in the ring or in a self-defense situation when you're fighting for your life. But for other stuff, like going to the gym and eating properly and everything, you need to engineer your environment. Example, proper nutrition. Get rid of all the crap in your house. Get rid of all the crap in your house. Get rid of all the stuff in your house so it makes it easier to eat properly. Good luck having strong willpower when you have 2-bite brownies, which I love. So guys, 2-bite brownies, bring it for me.
Those are basic.
Yeah, they're so good, eh?
Yeah.
Chips. If you have that stuff in your house, how are you going to say no? I'll just have one. It's okay, just one. No one's looking.
Well, they
proved it. I'm going to close the curtain.
The Doritos and these chip brands, they proved it in McGill University.
Really?
You can't have one.
Mm.
And there's something in there.
Sure.
I mean, have you ever had one chip?
No, for sure. Nobody has.
If anyone of our listeners has ever had
You're
one
lying.
chip, please contact me. We will do a podcast
comment
on that one.
Yeah, comment if you've had one.
Well, just one chip.
Yeah, exactly. I want a video of you all day. All right. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. That's what I have to say is have some accountability and try to engineer your environment for that. So kudos to you, Devendra. That's great. You pack your gym bag. It's there. Whether it guilts you to showing up at Combat Arts or whatever, you got to do it. But that's where my recommendations for goals. I have my own goals for myself as a martial artist. For Combat Arts, what I'd like to see for Combat Arts is I still am going to do my best. I've given my best for my students. I still want to be a better instructor. I'm not satisfied with myself as a coach. I think I could be a better coach, a better instructor. I still want my students to buy into my program and how they can take martial arts into their everyday life. It's just not there. I still want to get that across to them. I want my Muay Thai team to do well. And I'm happy to say that my Muay Thai instructors and the senior students, the fighters, are stepping up and improving the quality of instruction amongst the students and the athletes. I'm really happy to see that. And for me as an instructor, I want to translate those skills to the other coaches. So the BJJ coaches, the boxing coaches, and share the success we've had with our Muay Thai athletes and Muay Thai students. I like to see more kids in our program. So I'm actually going to be pushing our kids program really, really huge, pushing that out there. And then we're looking at other stuff too. I like to see a boot camp. We're pushing our boot camp here. We have a boot camp here at Combat Arts. We want to see some different demographics in our school. Even though the core essence of Combat Arts is martial arts, we know that fitness is important for everybody. So people who maybe are scared of martial arts and scared of fitness, we want to introduce them to our club. We want to get them in.
Well, what I always thought about that, obviously Combat Arts is multicultural and all, but let's say, for example, age group. What's the average? And I give this example that, for example, I'm a Combat Arts a student myself, and I'm a combat. I watch a lot of combat martial arts. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the UFC,
part of your life.
Stuff. So bottom line is the demographic for the combat sports is what they say is it's young males between 18 to 40.
Yeah.
Is that what you would
Definitely
say?
for sure, yeah. And I'm happy to say we have a lot of females here. And we're not like most martial arts clubs, Devendra. We have a lot of adults in our school. Most martial arts schools are kids, mainly kids, and a few adult programs.
And teenagers.
Yeah, we're the opposites. So I would like to actually grow our kids and teen programs and make it massive. That's actually one of the goals for us. I work with Crew Romel from Milton Muay Thai, and we're trying to run some YDLs, Youth Development Leagues. We have the Canadian Muay Thai movement. that we use for youths to compete in a league, a house league for Muay Thai. We see the importance of that because we see that now Muay Thai is slowly being accepted into the Olympics. So we definitely want to start getting.
Is it really?
Oh yeah. So we want to see our youth getting involved in that, right?
Well, when is that?
I have no idea. I gotta check.
But it's just conversation.
It's conversation and everything. I think it has some kind of accreditation. I gotta check to see what's going on. I just don't want to put my foot in my mouth and see what that extent is.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, so that's basically some of our goals for us, and there's some goals that Combatives has to do with basically our role as a business corporation. That we're changing up things now for ourselves. So Combatives are looking at other things besides martial arts.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, so now we're using it as not like martial arts. Again, how can we translate martial arts to other aspects of our life? So now Combatives is now looking at stuff beyond martial arts. We're now looking at other investments and other business opportunities for us.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually.
Pretty
exciting. More stress. I'm gonna lose my hair. I don't have any hair, but I'm gonna lose my hair.
By the way, Joey and I shaved today.
Yes, exactly.
Well, you probably saw that on
very,
Instagram.
very. I try to be very handsome, very romantical.
So okay. Anything you want to mention in terms of in the near future, maybe in the next 3 months? Any seminars or any special memberships? Anything that you're offering the community?
You know what? Like for sure, like what's coming up here for Combatives, we have a lot of great promotions. Obviously timed with the New Year's. So if you're looking to get into martial arts, whatever your goals are, guys, you want to pick up a new skill, you want to learn about martial arts, you want to learn self-defense, you want to get in great shape, or you want to actually compete one day, we pretty much cover all the bases. And we have a couple great New Year's specials. What I would suggest is come in for our free introductory lessons. We offer free 10 days of martial arts instruction. Come by and check us out. See if you like it. It's great. Devinder talked about the age groups we have here. We are a great community. I know people sit there and go, yeah, whatever, family atmosphere, community, but we are sincerely a great family and community environment. We have so many projects to vendor next year, man. Like, we have so many boxing shows coming up. Muay Thai. We have a Muay Thai kids show. We have a Muay Thai kids show coming up in end of January. Amir is doing an in-house Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu show here. We're going to have an in-house Jiu-Jitsu tournament here in March. We have so much stuff going on. Like, off the top of my head, it's just mind-boggling. We started our boot camp, like I said. We have a 6-week intensive boot camp starting off on January 7th. And we have a second one coming up on January 14th or January 21st.
So boot camp means condition?
It's conditioning, nutrition, accountability group, a separate Facebook group, instructional portal for them, how to eat properly, how to train on their own when they travel. It's pretty intense, man. So if you're like, you know what, I don't want to do the classes kind of stuff, I want something really intense, come see me, check out the 6-week intense boot camp. And we've been offering lately a lot of free women's self-defense programs. This is something that we want to do for the community. We understand that self-defense is really important. We talked about the growing violence out there. Like, I'm not saying that we have gangs of New York on the streets there, but you know what? Maybe the media is like really perpetrating it and all that stuff, really can't like capitalize on it. But there are like some violent people out there. There's some crazy people out there. Yeah. And we want to offer some free anti-bullying and free women's self-defense programs. These programs are sponsored by local businesses. They pay our instructors to share our knowledge with people out there. And we'll be doing that for free later on. Again, awesome. We're going to keep up that trend. We did that trend last year, and we will keep offering that trend of offering free instruction for our community. And in most of our boxing shows and Thai boxing shows, our kids program, we're going to give, our kids Muay Thai show, I said it in late January, we'll be giving some of the proceeds to Sick Kids Hospital. So we always try to give back to our charities no matter what.
That's awesome.
That's really, really key to us. And if you guys are Combat members, you guys know we have 2 donation boxes out here, for food and clothing. So please, if you're a Combat member, or if you're not a Combat member, you're going to come check us out, please give. Because this time of year, it's really, really hard. It's cold outside there, guys. So let's try to give out our help as much as possible.
Well, I wanted to, first of all, I honestly think we could probably go for another 6 hours.
Oh, for sure I could.
but the good news is you're one of our greatest guests.
Thank you.
It's an honor to have you on the podcast.
I definitely had to come back.
And definitely come back, and we'll I think we covered so many topics. I think
for sure.
I think next time we'll definitely cover just certain aspects, and we can focus on.
Sure, yeah.
So there's so many things we can do. Crew Joey's a mentor in my life. He's been my instructor in so many different martial arts. I am obviously a student here at Combat Arts, loving it, and it's part of my family, part of my life. And I just wanted to once again thank you so much.
Thank you so much, too.
And I hope all of you enjoy this podcast and really, learn something from it. I think, there's so many things we talked about, and I can't wait to hear your feedback. Now, one last thing.
Sure.
How do people get in touch with you?
So you can find me on Instagram. It's Combat Arts. There's also Joey Combat, and it's Combat with a K, guys. We can't spell here at Combat Arts. Or you can reach out to us through our Facebook page, which is like Combat Arts on Facebook. Or you can email me at info@combatarts.com, and it's Combat with a K.
Alrighty. So thank you to all of our listeners who will be listening to this. Thank you to Crew Joe.
Thank you, Devinder.
It was awesome. And this was it for the Double D podcast. Stay tuned. I have some interesting things happening. We'll be talking actually to some anti-bullying experts. I'll have my boxing coach in here. I love MMA, man. I'm going to have a bunch of people in here.
Cool.
So stay tuned for that.
You guys subscribe to this channel, guys.
All right. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to the Double D podcast. See you next time.